Hello everyone, and welcome back to Satisfactory. I'm the Nando, and we are picking up things right where we left it in the last stream, which was a power outage. I need to fix that. I didn't do any work off stream. I really want to enjoy and share the game here with you. And let me say hello to Michan in chat. Hello, and of course, Saribot also joining us today on Twitch. And yeah, I've been looking forward to streaming this game again. I do want to apologize because Monday I was supposed to stream Go, but I had a very important deadline that I had to fulfill, so I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm in no position to stream. It was a rough call. I never like canceling streams, but I had to do it on Monday. But now I can be here and I'm very happy. I also, while I was setting up things, I'll show that in a second. You just couldn't go exactly. I discovered that I learned how to change the bars, and I don't know why if I do this. This was here by default, so whenever someone leaves a like or subscribes or follows, I can do this emote in the game. I completely discovered this by accident and I was like, what? Okay, and this is our power setup. Let's fix the power, then we go through our plans. And this has fuel, and this has no fuel, so that's probably the source of our issues. That's a splitter, right? I didn't build a merger by mistake. Because why is this? Maybe that's a... Okay, that's wood. Oh, they are happen randomly. Yeah, this is wood. Something went wrong here. Wood shouldn't be able to reach that. This should be producing solid biofuel. This is producing biomass with wood. I mean, the conveyors keep working. I mean, but now what I need to do is sort my power situation. So let's get the weapon. I'm still warming up. I'm like getting back into the zone. Like a week is such a long amount of time. I couldn't play it any earlier. Hello Zumu, lurking today but wishing you good virtual engineering stream. Thank you. Okay, and we have power. Nah, but I think this is working, else we wouldn't be able to connect this. Wood is probably some remaining of the past. Let me just confirm. Yeah, this is producing solid biofuel. And now this should go here, go out and split there. Let's get our chainsaw. Okay, and we have the pellets being divided. Okay. I want to make things neater today, finish what I was automating. I want to... Oh, we also need to build the man still. I mean, I have enough resources. But let's take care of this first. I want to build a second Pa-pa-pa. A third biomass burner here. Still remember the hotkeys that were so important. Like using control to align this. This is a bit jank because of this rock. Can I demolish the rock? Where's the other tool? Maybe it's something in the future. Let's get a third biomass burner here. Okay. And okay. We conveyor belt this. And we connect it to the grid. Let's go, let's go. But yeah, great to see you today, Sumu. Great to see you today, Mi-chan. Thank you for showing up. And yeah, I want to fix... I want to also build a more permanent power station. There's a lot of things I want to do. My brain is getting back into the game. And speaking of brain, I do have one of those. But also, I'm very happy today. I had a great day. I submitted an important work deadline recently, and it's like, okay, things have been submitted, now I'm free to parkour amidst the factory. How are things looking here? Yeah, we do have this final chest. Oh, this is not aligned. There's a few optimizations. Oh, this week was actually a different project. My PhD has been submitted and will be defended this month. And it is about robotics. I programmed a humanoid robot, basically. That's what I did for my PhD. Which was quite a lot of work. I built a simulator for it and everything. But now it is done. And all I need is to defend. Okay, I want to sort out the copper situation. Is this where my copper comes from? Yeah, I want to have a better copper layout. So let's demolish this a little bit. Well, that's connecting straight to there. But yeah, I'm doing a PhD in robotics. I built a humanoid robot, and it was quite a lot of work. I built a simulator for it. Like, you see how I'm jumping in the game? And the way I'm jumping, it's because someone programmed gravity. We have the equations of gravity. We know that my linear velocity is preserved. And we know that my... like the acceleration of gravity, I have a starting impulse. So we can create those maths, compute those mathematics, and create a physics engine out of them. Basically, what I did was create a physics engine to simulate the motion of the robot I built. In time, I want to make this all look better. I'm not that happy with some of these conveyors. But yeah, let's build a storage here. Do we leave a gap for future? I'm going to leave just one gap because there's some possible future iron to do here. So let's leave a gap. We'll deliver copper there. I mean, and we can get the delivery going. That way we'll be... making things look better becomes a lot easier when you get blueprints. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I like how... like, they are not perfect, but I like how things are looking there in the end. Like the setup we have there in the factory. It's the long conveyor belts that I'm not happy with. Like, I wish I made them follow a more clear structure. Okay, and here we go over. I was just remembering that this is how you do it. Oh, missing materials. We do need some iron rods. Luckily, we do know that we have all of them stockpiled. And by the way, when you are a content creator, a lot of your decisions are made on performance. I'm very transparent about that. And one of the reasons I am playing this game today, there's a lot of options, and tomorrow I will be playing... Europa Universalis. That's another game that I'm very excited for. But... yeah, one of the reasons why I played this game right at the next week was how supportive and welcoming everyone was, and like a lot of likes, a lot of positive comments. That is not the only reason why I play a game, but it does help when it comes to deciding which games I'm going to stream. So if you're enjoying this, you can thank your fellow fans of this game. Toggle build mode. Yes, the Zoop. I hope EU5 will hit. Yeah, I would wait more for EU5 if I was not a streamer. And especially because not everyone recognizes this, but my model was made by Father Loris and Lady Saffron, who are two incredible names of the Europa Universalis community, of the Paradox community in general, both Loris and Seth. And I feel like... yeah, I feel like it just makes sense dude, for me to stream the game. I do like that, the support there on the stone. But yeah, okay. We have copper here. And yeah, when it comes to iron, the most important thing in iron processing, like in melting and everything, I'm talking now real life engineering, is carbon. We have some diagrams. We call them, I think it's phase diagrams that they're called in English. And they describe how steel is transformed, like iron is transformed into steel, depending on the temperatures, depending on the amount of carbon, and things like that. When it comes to copper, like, we do have a lot of copper wire nowadays, so copper is indeed used in its, I'm going to call it, basic form. Before, a lot of copper was used in ingots in the form of bronze, which is something that everyone is familiar of. And it is funny because the more bronze is an alloy between copper and tin, and the more tin you have, the more it gets more resistant at first. You add too much tin, then it becomes super brittle, and it breaks very easily. It loses all resistance if you add too much tin. But sometimes there's like, okay, this isn't useful in 90% of applications, but it is useful in one, and that's enough. There is one specific application where we use a lot of tin for bronze alloys, and that's to make bells. Bells have too much tin. They are bronze with a high concentration of tin. For a lot of mechanical engineering applications that wouldn't work, but we make bells considering the acoustic applications. And that's one of the few cases where we add, I think it's up to 30% tin to the mixture. Yeah, that's... now everyone here is a master of alloys. So I'm making some wires here, and one thing that I'm constantly checking there, I'm not going to store like finished product of every single thing, but I've realized that we need both copper wire and cable. So at least for now, here I'm going to do the dividing strategy of like half. Oops, I'm always pinging. Half will go through to get processed into Okay. Now, I think I'm going to add this line, the processing here. Yes, and you will go here and produce cables, exactly. Yeah, like, yeah, and it was something that I was talking about on my last stream. I was talking about how dropping in chat again just to say that's fascinating. Material science is really interesting. It's amazing the kind of properties that can be achieved by taking some certain parameters. Yeah, like, I mean, I will talk more about that in 1 second. But yeah, last stream we were talking about the elevator, the mass elevator to store power. And yeah, that's one of the things I pointed out was like, okay, for the original conception, this underperforms. Way too many moving parts. But sometimes that's the fun thing about engineering. Sometimes it's not about the original vision. You do find out new applications and you do find out a way that things will just work better. This is not... Let's just fix this one. And I need to be careful about oversaturating these lines with time. For now, I think we are fine. Yeah, I am pressing Alt. I'm pressing Alt instead of Control. That's my problem. Yeah, my problem is that I wanted to press Control and I was pressing Alt. Oh. I keep pressing Alt by muscle memory. But yeah, okay, when it comes to materials, like, okay, you have bronze, you have iron, and you have carbon. That's steel. And you may think, okay, just the mixture will define the end result. But no, one of the most important things is temperatures. And we have something... I had an entire degree, an entire course on thermal treatments of steel. Because if you treat steel like if you slowly do things, like you do the process but you do it slowly, the metal shapes in a certain way, converts into certain processes, and you have very... If you do it slowly, the metal is softer. It is more malleable. If you do it fast, it is harder. Because the steel, I think the name is mertensite or austenite. I don't know the correct English name. But yeah, depending on how you cool down the steel, the properties change absurdly. And one interesting history lesson is that when you had samurais with the katanas, they would say that the best katanas were made by you take the boiling hot sword and you pierce the chest of a samurai. And by doing that, you would get the strongest katana because the soul of the samurai would get imbued into the katana blade. And that was the old explanation. Now we know. Why are we not... Why does this one have... Does this not divide it equally? Yeah, Man at Arms showed that a while ago with swords. Too much heat, not enough. No tempering and so on. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, the reason why katanas were that pierced other samurai were so good, it was not because of the ritual. It was not because of the soul of the samurai. Which I have a lot of. It was because blood is rich in carbon, and carbon was getting deposited in the surface of the katana, and they were quenching the blade, they were tempering the blade in the body of the opponent while depositing carbon in it. And that's the reason a lot of superstition comes from actual knowledge. The cause and effect was just wrong. But there's a lot of people who hear old tales and laugh, or old superstitions, and sometimes there's a lot of wisdom contained into them. The only thing that's wrong is the cause and effect. In that way, in that one, it was not the sword or anything. Like the cause and effect, the causality was wrong. But there was truth to why that happened. Most things that were done in terms of history and all, like, people were smart. They knew things were working. They just didn't know why. Tempering a blade inside a warrior is really metal, but nice. Okay, that's a lot of cables. Let's get some things here. Like, my personal inventory is such a mess. I want to move my... Okay, let's deliver some things here. Oh, yeah, that's true. that is true. You just pray to the Omnissiah and things work out. And okay, and talking about like engineering in general, it is astonishing because anyone who's done a little bit of engineering work in whatever field it is, be it programming, be it civil engineer, be it mechanical engineer, everyone knows that things take a lot of work. And making things work in real life...
The assembler can produce more complex parts, including the first project part, smart plating, which is crucial for initiating project assembly. Project parts must be delivered to the space elevator. By completing your contracted duties as part of project assembly, you will definitely be helping achieve Fix-It company goals without any other ulterior motive. Note, humans cannot craft project parts. Do not worry about your inadequate crafting skill when compared to an assembler. Fix-It cherishes your innate human abilities, such as walking, striking objects, and commodifying natural resources.
Yeah, I already see a problem here. Yeah, but okay. Anyone who has ever worked any kind of work in engineering knows that making things work is hard. Like, whatever it is, like in when it comes to engineering. What is this? Oh, Ethereum more. Everything will work in concept. Like, making things actually work correctly is a whole different beast. And if we look at how many things are working around us, like, I'm playing a game, I'm streaming it, and this is technology that is very complex. But if you like go outside and look at the world, there's so much stuff that is just working, and things don't work by default. They work because a lot of engineers, or not only engineers, a lot of people put a lot of thought into making them work. And it is overwhelming how, like, once you start thinking like that, once you start structuring that, okay, everything that works had to make, someone had to make it work. This is a product of someone's labor. Then you realize that the point that we are in history would really be impossible without the cumulative effort and knowledge and everything of millions of people over thousands of years. It is astonishing how advanced the world is. Oh. Yeah, the modern world is built on top of the shoulders of giants. One thing about project parts, the elevator is the only thing that will ever need them. It can be a good idea to keep them going since you'll need them again for the next stage. Okay, okay. And hello, Vexel! Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm here back at the factory. Okay, why aren't you... I think I probably need to reconnect this. Chotomate. Yeah, you need to redraw the belts after you... Yeah. Now, are you saturated or flowing well? No. I mean, I have buffers back here. So this isn't that bad, the fact that I have... Since I have those buffers there. And hello, Felon! Welcome. To the stream. And now I still want my final output chest. Oh, let's get the output. Okay, I'm going to use this lane here. Right now I'm just having fun. That's what I'm doing. Because I want to have everything going back there and a chest there for convenience. So these are all buffer chests. And that's great. And then I want you all to go here. And slowly, like if I need more res, I'll go to the buffers. But slowly, everything will be channeled back here. When I say slowly, I mean really slowly. Hey, beetle guy. I was building there. Come on. Come on. Come on, creature. Okay, now I just want to produce concrete here as well. Let's use this final lane. And then I just wanted to organize these first few productions. I don't want to punch him, poor thing. I do get what you mean. But I don't want to punch him. I'm not at that stage of engineering yet. Yeah, we need to get the new unlock soon. Okay, this is the... Are you the limestone? Oh, this is iron. Okay, this is limestone and you just need one assembler. I just want to finish this small layout here and then I'll be productive. Then I'll look into new stuff. I just want to finish what I'm going to call my first factory. Missing rotor. Wait. Oh, this is the assembler. No, it's not the assembler that I want. It's the constructor. The assembler is new. Yeah, control is the key that I want, not alt. Stop pressing alt. Mr. Bean! Oh. I did a small oopsie there. Oh, and hello, Amaru with the raid! Hello, Amaritos! Welcome. So PhD is not the stage of engineering when you start punching animals. Okay, maybe in other engineerings, but not in mechanical engineering. We do not want to punch. But hello, Amaru and the Amaritos. What are you doing? Hi. How was the stream? And me and Amaru have a very interesting stream on the way for this Saturday. So not Saturday, Friday. PC punch almost here. No! Yes. This Saturday I will be teaching Amaru some... she's a fellow VTuber. Let me shout her out. From Bolivia. And this Friday I'll be teaching Amaru some Portuguese slang. And Amaru will be teaching me some Bolivian slang. So it's gonna be an interesting language exchange. That's Friday. Live. Do not miss it. You have copper sheets now? Yes, you are going to be so confused. I mean, in my CV, it says there that my level of engineering is... Not engineering. Of Espanol. My level of Spanish, of Espanol, says basic. After our stream, I hope I can put advanced on my CV. I'm counting on you to teach me the ways of Spanish speaking, of Bolivian slang. Okay, let's get this. Yeah, and today, for the new viewers, I'm building a factory. I am an engineer. This is what we do. It's slang, so it won't help much. I mean, you never know. I will be teaching you very important Portuguese vocabulary. Trust. No. Very serious stuff as well. Yeah, now this goes under... I don't want to go overly spaghetti. European Spanish is very different from American Spanish. Yeah, I agree. I also spoken a little bit with the Ibero-Americans, and funnily enough, at least in my conversation, most of the Ibero-Americans understood Portuguese better than the Spanish. The player from Chile, I remember, really surprised me with how well he understood Portuguese. How's the treadmills growing? Hello, Kradentost, it's going great. I am now producing... Oh, yeah, power. Let's get a new pole here. And hello, D1100. Yeah, instead of spaghetti code, I'm doing spaghetti conveyor. But I mean, it's not the worst. I've seen... Okay, let me go up at the tower and see how bad it looks. At least that part looks neat and tidy. Transportation there is the worst part. I mean, it's not that bad. I've seen worse. It's kind of mesmerizing. Okay, and there I can see some lack of efficiency. Because this is getting faster in than it is getting smelted, so there. Oh, there is a way. You're on your environment destroying art. Yes! I mean, okay, one mode, but okay, yeah, there is the mode where I can go decoupled camera. Yes, and I can go... This is like flying a drone. It gets messy real quick. Yeah, and you can look at things like this. So I can get a top-down view. Okay, there... Yeah, I need to get this conveyor. There... Like, probably merge there with this one. And then get it back. Yeah, the couple... Oh, can I take a selfie with the couple? This is how I make my thumbnails. Hello! Oh! Yeah, you talk about the environment destruction. Ooh, this hurts. Okay, saved. You talk about the environment destruction arc. You've seen nothing. Like... Is there anything more destruction? Like, oh look, beautiful 400-year-old tree get chopped. Oh, that is one. I'm joking in game. In real life, when people destroy those century-old trees, Nando saw it first. It really. I'm like, no, they are so beautiful. When you go to like a historical place, like for example, some monasteries that have historical trees or something, and a lot of the trees are 400 years old or 300, you do notice the difference, and they are like, it's so imposing to see a massive tree, like 10 people need to hug it to try to cover, and it's not even enough. Look forward to the hover pack. It's so nice when you can get a top-down view, but it's pretty far away. It's around aluminium. Oh, that's why is the English language like that? Why do you have aluminum and aluminium? My parents just threw away 100. No! Those are the kind of things that hurt my soul. But yes, why aluminum and aluminium? Why no coherence? To be fair, it was ugly as sin. Yeah, okay, that is a fair point. Because preservation of history and everything is important. But there's sometimes the idea that just because something is old, it is good or important, and that's not always the case. With Brazilian and Portuguese, true. But at least we do not have aluminium and aluminium. Like, I'm not complaining with all the differences. It's just that specific one bothers me. That only that one in specific. I won't yet, because I do understand, yeah, linguistics evolution. I won't complain about any other linguistic nuance. Just the, yeah, alumino y aluminio. That's the only one that I'm ever going to complain. We just have aluminium. No, there is aluminum. Oh, huh? Oh, someone's fighting. What? Fireballs? What the? Ah! Ah! I don't have age. Yeah, exactly, between British and... But as I said, I do know the nuance. And I know there's a lot of different Portugueses, different Spanishes. The only word is the aluminium. That's the only one I complain. Yeah, this is like Pokemon. Okay, turns out I do have a...
Unknown alien species acquired. Their weaponized plasma is most likely stored as a stable chemical substance in an organ close to their mouth, and only turns volatile when exposed to one of the chemical elements in the air. Research the remains in the MAM to establish classification and potential countermeasures.
Oh. Yeah, we'll get the MAM in no time. I can build here a platform. Foundation. I'm not destroying their house. I'm upgrading it. I'm bringing industry. Oh yeah, no, I was like, that was just my peculiar rant. Have you heard Portuguese? Portuguese is such a hard language to learn. There's so many peculiarities. Okay, but the one there's another one that grinds my gears. Like, you cannot complain about languages, its culture and everything, but I'm learning a lot of languages, so I get to complain a little bit. Japanese counters. Like counting... Oh, we need the sheets. Like the fact that you count different things with different words. Yeah, counting things in Japan. That's the one. If I have one complaint to pass about one... like a pass to complain about one thing in each language, For English, I will use the aluminum, which is not that bad. But I don't know why it bothers me. For Japanese, is the counting. The verbs are so easy. There's so many things in Japanese. I mean, there's hard forms, but if you compare it with other languages like Portuguese and such, it is easy. And then you reach the counters, and you're like, why? I've been studying this language for ages, and I still do not know how all counters work. But can you count the different terms used to count different things? I mean, if you're counting people, it's hitori, futari. If you're counting thing like days, Itsuka, Muika. I'm pulling a blank now. Yeah, there's the new emotes. My partner has been trying to learn Portuguese, and each time I had to explain, I struggle. Yeah, Portuguese. That's one of the reasons why I think it's quote-unquote easier for us to learn languages, because our base one is already quite hard. Denmark can't count either. For some reason, tens and ones make no sense. Like 93 is written out is 3.5 fives. Okay. Okay, counting at least in Portuguese, it's easy. Out of all things, counting is easy. Ooh, faster conveyors. Okay, that's going to be useful. And are these reinforced plates? I think they are. Ooh. Wait. I can make copper sheets. Okay, let's build... Okay, before this, let's build the new building that we have. The MAM. Yeah, Denmark counting thingy. I haven't heard much about the Denmark count thingy. At least he got cool letters. Yeah, the diameter one... Like, the letter that we use to symbolize diameter, I'm going to copy and paste it, because I have no idea how to get it. The international symbol for diameter is a letter from Denmark, right? This one. I think this is a letter from Denmark. This. Which is the international symbol for diameter. It is! Okay. I was quite confident, but not 100% sure. Yeah, that one. I'm going to call it an I have no idea what it is called. I don't like this going through here. It's also the word for island. Okay. Okay, let's make this go above this. That was pretty close. Okay. It does look like an if it makes sense. Wait, where was this going? Island diameter. Okay, it's here. So we go under here. Now we just connect there. Okay, and it is a bit janky, but I kind of like it. Do we have... Okay, we have nothing new here. Let's build a MAM. Oh, I know the AE one. Embrace the power of spaghetti treadmills. That's the one thing also about this game. Is that you can spaghetti as much as you want because conveyor belts cost no power. If you think about it that way, you can just spaghetti at will. Alien megafauna. Nutrients. Okay, I can add some nuts here. Okay, and this is fast. This is very not complete. Please choose a new node in tree to begin new analysis.
This fruit, dubbed the barrel nut after its distinctive color, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available.
I like how we talk about, oh, causing power late game. Now I'm always going to picture a round island whenever I see that letter. For me, like, it's so ingrained as the diameter symbol because of engineering. Ooh.
The remains researched belong to an organism that tends to nest near objects emitting specific types of resonance. Spitters are called as such due to their ability to create and spit plasma across long distances. Spitter remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration.
Anyway, good luck then on destroying the environment and like, hope you get rich. What is the goal of this game? No, thank you, and thank you for dropping by, Amaru, and I hope you had a great stream. Basically the game is make more industries, send things to space, and things like that. It's an engineering game. Factory game. But thank you so much for the raid and for dropping by, and I'm looking forward to our stream next Friday. I'm very excited for it. It's gonna be fun. Always a pleasure to see you. Destroying the environment is the goal. Yeah, kind of. Yes. It is actually the goal. That's why you go to space. You destroy this environment, you go to space in order to search for a new environment to destroy. Well, see you have a good stream. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's deliver some stuff. Oh, there's a door there. Have a lot of concrete. We have some iron rods. We need more iron plates and then a bunch of reinforced iron plates, which take screws and iron plates. So a lot of screws and a lot of iron plates. But yes, I can imagine how much of a nightmare it will be. I love the chaos mix that we have going on here. The chaos of this conveyor belt. Like, cables are probably getting stored here. Yeah, that's why we have these buffers. I'm not that concerned about how slow this is because we have buffer chests along the way. So things getting clogged is not that bad in terms of actual consequences. At least here we're through the sushi belt. Oh, that's a good terminology. The sushi belt. I can 100% see it. I can 100% see. I remember, like, some people have like those sushi belts, and then they go to Japan and they're like, oh, I already know this. I got this in my own country. The first time I got sushi from a belt was actually in Japan, and it was really good. Are you all obsolete here? I think you are. Let's... You can tell how much you... True! Oh no, you're not obsolete. You're the machines that are producing the power. If I... Okay, let's get some more wood. Just real quick. But yes, it's so easy to go out of control and to just keep eating more and more sushi, and then it's like, okay, now it's time to pay the bill. Luckily for me, like as I was saying, oh, I used up all of my... I got it in Japan, and Japanese, like, the yen is not that strong, which is bad for Japan. Oh, the one I went to wasn't all you can eat. It was an interesting mechanic. I say mechanic as if I'm discussing a... Oh, let's not put the wood. I want the wood for here. basically, different plates have different colors. You would grab a plate of the sushi you want, and you would keep the plate with you. At the end, you took the plate to the checkout, to the guy collecting money, and they would count your plates, and it's like, okay, 1 blue one, 2 red ones, 1 green one, and yeah, because best sushi would be on 1 color plate. And I remember there was I think it was blue crab sushi, which is one of the, I think it was on the more expensive side, but as I was saying, the yen is kinda weak, and food in Japan is not that expensive compared to Europe, especially restaurant food. Like, ingredients are expensive, restaurant food is very cheap compared to Europe. So yeah, I got a lot of the good sushi, and at the end the bill was not that high. Here for all you can eat, there are probably sushi belts. And hello, and funny failure, you went to Japan? Yes, twice. Oh, here we have, like, we have one thing called santola, and santola recheada. It's like a style of crab where you get the claws and everything to eat the meat, but then the core part, the shell, you empty it out, and you mix it with like some eggs or something, you prepare a batter, and you put it back into the shell, and then you grab that mixture and spray it on some toasts. Ah, it's so good. But yes, I went to Japan twice. First time I was very focused on doing like the important tourist stuff. I went to Tokyo, Kyoto, Kamakura, Nara, Himeji, and saw a lot of the monuments, took a lot of pictures, traveled a lot. It was really cool. Second time, I was way more relaxed. I saw some VTuber stuff. I did a stream with a fellow VTuber in Japan. He's Canadian but living in Japan, and we streamed together. But second time I was way more relaxed because there wasn't that pressure of, okay, I need to see all the key things. I went to a maid cafe the second time around. I really goofed around Japan. Met some people, made some friends. Usually I prefer the second or third time I visit the country compared to the first one. First one is the most breathtaking, but it's also more anxiety-inducing, and you want to make sure you see all the things. You're kind of like speedrunning and filling the checklist, while second time you can just chill around and enjoy. Santola recheada stuffed crab. The mix has eggs, mustard, other flavorings, etc. Everyone has their own recipe. I've seen my dad adjust his over and over during the years. Yeah, some people add ketchup, mayo, eggs, mustard, of course. Like, I've seen... For me, and I think a lot of people will say the same, like, the best one is my mother's recipe, and I think everyone will say like, oh, it's my dad, it's my grandmother's, it's my brother's recipe. But yes, it is a thing that everyone has their own. I've seen a similar system with Spanish tapas. It was colored sticks instead of plates. Oh, nice, nice. Sadly, I'm not a seafood person. No! Yeah, Portugal, if you're a fan of seafood, I think this kind of goes without saying. But if you're a fan of seafood, Portugal is kind of the place for you. We have amazing seafood. Our seafood is... We have a lot of good food in general. Some dishes can be more depending on culture. For example, we have a lot of... I never liked shellfish, so not my dad's recipe. Should I visit Portugal? I mean, if you have the opportunities... it is a good tourist destination. If you have the opportunity, you have good food, we have good, like, depending on the regions you visit, there's a lot of history, a lot of, like, old castles, temples, monuments, a lot of peculiar stuff. I'm always surprised with what culture shocks people when they come to Portugal, because we do have a lot of peculiarities. We have a lot of seafood as well, and it's the most expensive meat we have as well. Oh, here? Like, not all... and especially if you live in the seaside, and I mean, Portugal is a lot of seaside. Living in the seaside in Portugal, you're part of the majority. And yeah, seafood is not like a luxury, it's not a fancy thing. I mean, some seafoods are, like if you get lobster, and I know some African countries where the only negative about Portugal is if you're veggie or vegan, it's hard to find good options. I think lately it has improved a lot. I think we are still far... I'm not vegetarian. Yeah, I was about to say that, especially in Lisbon and Porto. Lisbon is amazing, but I feel like a lot of the other cities are starting to get a lot of really good vegan and vegetarian restaurants, but it depends on what your comparison is. For example, if you're comparing with the Netherlands or the US, probably there's better stuff there. Also would depend on the state if you're talking about the US, but I do think we are getting better. The one thing I want to say is that I'm not vegetarian, and your impression as someone who is not vegetarian can be skewed. You can have some biases. It's one thing to look and think, yeah, we actually have a lot. It's another thing to actually be one. Seafood is common, but it's still relatively expensive. Especially if you go to seafood focuses places down. I mean, it depends. Like, some fish markets at the seaside, you can get a lot of good fish that's not expensive. Like, I'm talking going 6 AM to fisherman places. They're undocking the fish. There's the ladies gutting the fish and everything, and you talk to them. I think you can get like a lot of bang for your buck if you go to the early morning fish markets. I don't think it's more expensive than meat. Yes, seafood is both fish and mariscos, seashells and everything, like mussels, clams. I mean, isn't... I'm not sure, I'm asking because I'm not sure. Is navalheira cheap or expensive? Shellfish, yeah, shellfish. Is navalheira... because I had in my mind navalheira is cheap, but I don't eat navalheira, and navalheira is shellfish. I don't eat navalheira, but in my mind it is cheap, so I do wonder. Okay, we have the tier 2 conveyors now. Only course. Okay, I need to automate the production of reinforced iron plates. I think I'm going to get another iron and use that iron specifically just for reinforced iron plates. Seems like I'm going to need to be spending a lot of them. Yeah, but I'm not that shellfish of a person. Yeah. But I do like... I mean, when it comes to food, I'm definitely not a picky eater. Probably my least type of favorite food overall would be canned foods. Especially like canned tuna. I'm not a huge fan. But when I say I'm not a huge fan, it's really I'm not a huge fan. I can eat them. Like, no problem. Oh, I need to wait for the pot to return. So, let me get more iron up into our production. Better to wait for steel. Ah, so the game does have steel. I keep yapping on about steel. So yeah, okay, so maybe we skip that. And I mean, copper wires and everything. I'm still going to get another iron source. Oh! I don't know why I felt like I was falling to oblivion there. If you had it in Portugal, all that cheap you could all can where I stuffed myself still and now okay. Let me actually read it. Feld. Sushi. I had it easy in Portugal. All the cheap all you can eat sushi places where I stuffed myself silly. And now here in Edinburgh, I only have 1 or 2 all you can eat sushi and they're all expensive. Every tier has a new material, the entire tier is based on. Ah, okay. Okay, yeah, here in Portugal, if you want expensive sushi, you have it, and in Lisbon, a friend of mine took me to an expensive place, and it is actually one of the best sushi places I've ever been to. Like, competing with Japan levels of good. It was so good. But if you want cheap sushi, all-you-can-eat buffets, there's a lot of them. A lot of good all-you-can-eat sushis everywhere. Let's get a mine here. Oh, I need a portable miner. Oh, and I need... Okay, let's do the... Whee! Hop. Like, if you time it well, you go super fast. It's really cool. About 33 euros all you can eat. Oh, I mean, Portugal is a cheap country. We definitely have cheaper. Like 18 euro, I think. I haven't been to one in quite a while, but I think 18 you can get all you can eat sushi for 18 euros here. Let's not launch ourselves into Oblivion. I do like playing Oblivion, but not launching myself into it. Oh, I also need power here. Be right back, going to Portugal. It is... I honestly think Portugal is an insanely good tourist destination. To live in has a few limitations. Especially, I saw a video the other day on YouTube. Title was a little bit clickbait, but 100% true, which was Portugal, one of the worst housing crises in Europe. And I was like, yep, yeah. It's not easy for Portuguese people to buy a house nowadays, and a lot of people my age. Like, you have people who are married and they're living, both of them are living in the homes of their parents. Because the cost of housing and everything, especially if you live in one of the biggest cities like Porto or Lisbon, if you're a youth couple, your combined wage will not be enough to pay for a house, like, not a house, an apartment in a lot of cities. Capitals are always expensive, true. But here, like, in Portugal overall, in general, even some places that were known for being like, okay, this place is the place where you can live cheaply. Even those kinds of places now are really expensive. I want to bring that over here. And right now I really don't have a particular use for this siren. So I'm just going to leave the conveyor here. And yeah, and the problem is for a lot of people, like, some regions we don't have that good of a public transportation network. In Denmark you can live fairly cheap if you don't live in any of the uni cities. Yeah, here the problem, like, if there are some places where you can live cheap, but there's nothing. Like, the Portuguese mountains are really facing problems with getting deserted. It's like the phenomena is called the megalopolis, like you have the in Japan and everything, where the big cities get connected and everything between the big cities becomes nothingness. Everyone lives in the big cities and they get connected and they get bigger and more powerful and everything. And everything else between just gets desertified. Not a problem for Denmark. Everything is flat and everything is half an hour away. True! You do have... I'm not checking stats, but you probably have a much higher population density than Portugal. I think not considering micronations like the Vatican and such, I think the biggest population density in Europe is the Netherlands. But I could be wrong. Yeah, Portugal has a lot of deserted regions. We have both problems. Some parts are overcrowded, some parts are deserted. And even though the deserted parts are cheaper, the transportation networks are not good. So... Oh. I'm tiny. So people don't go to live there. It's a lot of balance. Yes.
Milestone reached. You have been given access to the anti-waste effort for stress testing of materials on Exoplanet's bonus program, also known as Awesome. Your awesome input allows Fixit to comprehend our amazing universe more clearly. In appreciation of this, we have generously set up an internal, closed economy...
Yeah, the conveyor belt on top of the shed. I really like it as well.
Quantity and complexity into the awesome resource sink will grant Fixit coupons. These coupons can be redeemed in the Awesome Shop for highly desirable items such as new foundations, walls, factory attachments, cosmetics, parts, and more. Next time you have additional resources, just remember to go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
Oh, nice, extra kilometer, not extra mile. Okay. Chrome paint finish. Okay, this is... Oh, you can even toggle... Okay. You can open new tabs. Okay, this is really cute. Oh, this interface is really cute. Like, oh, I need to... It's getting warm in here. Let me just remove my jacket. I need to add that as a toggle for my VTuber as well. But okay, this seems like something that's going to be very important, but not for now. Let's build the awesome sink as well. Oh, this has an input? Yeah, okay, and this is the awesome sink, so probably it's a place where you want to sink all of your resources into. And we also need the... dressing items, yeah, and getting tickets for the store. Foundations that only cost concrete, okay. Okay, next one here is the jump pad, and we need some rotors. Yeah, rotors. Okay, not that complicated to build. It is 50, but I mean, I also gotta work myself. It's not just a factory doing all the lifting. It's good to sometimes get our muscles working. Oh. But yeah, we need more. This. The sushi belt. This is not that convenient. I'm going to use that word. Oh, I haven't used neither FreeCAD nor OpenSCAD. I've used Autodesk Fusion, Autodesk Inventor, SolidWorks, and Katya. Those were the main CAD softwares that I used. Katya is very common in like advanced engineering. Don't I have one of these? Okay, I need another one. Okay, I have infinite cable. Oh, I need to wait for the pod to return. But yeah, okay. Talking a little bit more about engineering. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to. I like to, whenever I'm between conversations, introduce a new engineering topic. Let's talk about. Is it called tolerances in English? I think it's also called tolerances. Let's talk about tolerances, and that's a very interesting topic. Because when you are drawing something like in CAD, in the computer or everything, how much does this measure? 20 millimeters. How much does that measure? 40 millimeters. In real life, you never produce anything that is 40 millimeters. Why? Because we do not have that level of precision. Like we couldn't... What is 40 millimeters? Is it 40.0? 40.000, 40 point, like, numbers? How far do you go? Because it makes a difference. And it makes a difference, for example, if you're making a hole and you want a shaft to go into the hole, I'm talking engineering, don't get any weird ideas. If you have a specific tolerance, the shaft will be loose. If you have another tolerance, it will be super tight. Oh, why did I use the shaft as an example? So when you are producing stuff, you always include tolerances, and that's your acceptable error. And depending on what... Wait, isn't that... Yes, that's Vex. Yes, I was like, isn't that Vex? That emote? Depending on the tolerances that you use, your outcomes will be different. Oh, tolerances are something that when you are producing 3D parts, you build them in... you are in the computer, so everything is perfect. When you are drawing on any CAD software, you create a 3D model without considering tolerances. I'm just finishing my point before the lady interrupts me in the game. What you do... Okay, no, let me interrupt and then I continue.
Milestone reached. The Fix-It jump pad combines high technology and innovation for optimized factory traversal and an ideal travel experience. Clarification. Ideal travel experience not guaranteed, individual results may vary. Pioneers are responsible for all workplace accidents resulting from jump pad usage.
And by the way, Michan, yeah, I never get ads as well. I see a lot of people who complain about ads. I don't know why, I don't know if it's a country thing. I never get ads on Twitch, never. I haven't gotten one in ages. I do hope you're back, but okay. Yeah, talking about tolerances. Computer models have no tolerances, but one of the most important languages in engineering is what we call technical drawings. Okay, nowadays some companies do it, but traditionally speaking, you wouldn't give a 3D model to a company, much less to a metal worker. For example, I'm someone who is doing working covered in oil, working on a lathe. You won't be like, oh, open your computer and check the part. No, what you give to the metal workers is a drawing. And that drawing is paper, pen and paper, or ink and paper because you print it. And on that drawing, you include the tolerances. And depending on the tolerances, it will affect how your parts fit and how much you pay. When I asked, oh, do you want 10.0 millimeters or 10.00? The difference is that getting 10.00 millimeters is more expensive than getting 10.0. And if you get 10.000, which is precision to the level of the micrometer, you pay a lot more. And good engineering is basically having the worst possible tolerance for each part as long as it works. It's like, this part won't fit into nothing, then you can have a 1 millimeter mistake. This part is inside an engine and it is moving, it's like a cylinder. Okay, then maybe in this case, no mistake is like, only a micrometer mistake is acceptable. But the thing of, oh, I'm a perfectionist, I want my parts to be perfect, down to the micrometer, down to the nanometer, there is no perfection in reality. In concepts like that, mathematics can be perfect. You have 1 + 1 is 2. That is a perfect truth. If you go into engineering, there is no such thing as a flawless perfect part. What you are doing is controlling. The secret is control. You do not want to have uncontrolled mistakes. You want to have mistakes that you understand, that you control, and that you know that things will work despite those errors. That's the difference between engineering and not engineering, is that in engineering, the level of failure and everything is determined. It's, for example, some people talk. I tried a bit. When I studied IT, we had to make circuit boards and I have to use measures that were smaller than millimeter, where you could only trust what the bag said. Yeah, I've worked with, like, me making parts with the 10th of a millimeter. No, 100th of a millimeter. And I, basically, the machine was precise and I was rotating one thing and it's like one rotation, a full rotation equals an advance of a 10th of a millimeter, for example. And you know that the gears are demultiplying and you have some level of control. Yeah, 100th of a millimeter is kinda normalish still within engineering. Once you get to 1,000th of a millimeter, that's a micron, then you'll probably start paying big bucks. And if you have to, you will pay them. But if you don't have to, you're just wasting resources and time. Objective build a space elevator. Okay, reading. Reading helps. I was like... Yeah, circuit board production. I mean, for those of you who... That takes a plot point in Project Hail Mary if you've read it. Oh, I haven't, but now I'm curious. Okay, for those of you who never designed a circuit board, I never designed a circuit board, but I've worked with people who have designed circuit boards. I'm going to show you what circuit board design is. Enable decoupled camera. You see all of these conveyor belts? Imagine that you need to move things from one place to the other. And you need to be like... Okay, these paths can cross, but this cannot cross with that, because this is too thick. This conveyor belt, we need to have this type of width. And, okay, we can have some bridges, but we cannot have 3 conveyor belts crossing at the same time. And basically, circuit board design is conveyor belt design. It's exactly the same thing. Yeah, Factorio can look a lot like a circuit board. Yeah, this is very simple one. A circuit board is literally this. It's a conveyor belt that carries electrical energy, electrical signals. And you need to make sure that things are connected. And what is good PCB design, printed circuit board? It depends on your application. Sometimes you want to go as small as possible. Sometimes it's like, okay, we really need this to not fail at all. So let's make those lines thick. Let's make these things redundant. Let's make everything fail-proof. While other times it's like, okay, we need to make this as tiny as possible. This is for a cell phone. People don't want to carry chunky stuff. In engineering, goals really depend on the applications. Yeah, for me in robotics, for example, you say 100 times smaller. I've worked with pretty chunky PCBs. Like, PCBs that are not that complex. They are just connecting some fuses, an Arduino, some motors, with long lines. And yeah, the main difference between this and Factorio, while everyone is saying that this Factorio is more PCB design, I agree. And the main thing is that here we have the third dimension, which helps a lot. The third dimension makes it a lot easier for, and this is why I have buffers. The third dimension makes it a lot easier for things to... $30 per minute, and sorry, 30 per minute, so I can just double this. Yeah, the third dimension makes it a lot easier to design here. I can literally, and I have the space for it. Though, do you not fit here? Oh, I'm missing materials, you do fit. But here, can we get a divider? That's a little bit too tight. I'm going to make something ugly here. Okay. Oh, but then we cannot go into there. Now I wish I left enough space for a splitter. Because we could double our wire production. PCBs can also have third dimension. I mean, if you're a beginner, you really don't need a 4-layer board. I mean, if you're a beginner and you get tasked with something complicated, maybe you do need a... Oh, I'm going to... Okay, let's start. I can't afford to lose. My mind doesn't allow me to lose all of those materials. Okay, those I can afford. I found a Fosh project that had 4 layers for something that would work in 2 layers without more than 2 yeah, that's... There's also like one thing I see, sometimes people are like, oh, this could have been done better. But one thing you need to understand, and I talk from, now I'm talking with, okay, I have experience and I share the pain of a lot of other engineers, is that how much time did the original engineer have to work on the project? I'm like, because sometimes people look at my things and they're like, oh, this could have been done better. And I was like, yes, it could, but do you know how much? I had no time at all. What you are looking at right now is a miracle. The fact that I even got this to work with the time I got. Do you have any idea how much of a genius I am? I'm joking, but yeah, in engineering context matters. I mean, in everything context matters. The copper ore. So yeah, I don't judge. If I know all the circumstances in which a project was made, I can judge it harshly. If I don't, I usually don't judge the work of other engineers a lot. Because I've suffered quite a bit in the field. And... I'm like, can I? Okay, maybe if I... Hey, oh, that is true. Is it worth the cost to make it better? That is a very important thing. In engineering, in particular, that is a very important thing to have in mind. Okay, let's move this pole, and I think... Okay, missing iron rod. Can you terraform? For now, I don't think so. Maybe later. But I'm not sure. I'm playing this like some people in chat know things from later on in the game. I'm really playing this without knowing anything at all. And I don't mind people sharing, by the way. No, okay, no terraforming. I mean, I like it, the fact that you can't terraform, because limitations make things interesting in a lot of ways. And the terrain is our limitation here. Is one of our limitations. Okay, let me build on the ramp here. And like, if I knew from the get-go... Okay, the world is set and won't change other than a few things changing. Yeah, if I knew what I was building, I would have planned for these things beforehand. If I knew, for example, oh, I'm going to need to expand this and things like that. But I'm specifically playing this without knowing anything at all. So sometimes I over-engineer things, other times I under-engineer things. And the good thing about this game is that it's not very punishing in terms of, okay, you did something wrong, now you are doomed. Okay, this is interesting for the future. During the game, it's kind of resource management because you have to build factories to the appropriate skills. Yeah, and I'm betting that the more you go, the more important logistics overall will be. Just a hunch, but one that I'm making very confident. Okay, here we're going to do what they do in the... Let's do like what they do in the roads. Ah, that... Okay, I need to move this a little bit forward. Pause to check. Oh, thank you, Fallon. I do need that. I do definitely need that. Ah! It's hard to plan when you don't know the size. Machines will get big. Yeah, exactly. I'm planning as much as I can. But I can't definitely... Like, I haven't seen other people stream this game yet. Like, for example, tomorrow, Europa Universalis is a game that really... Like, a lot of people watch streams and you really gain a lot from learning the game. But I'm going in... I love the discovery stage of games. I love learning by myself. And doing mistakes. I love doing mistakes. I do a lot of them. I need a reinforced iron platings. I need an electricity pole here. I know. Okay, trains I've seen. I think I saw them maybe in a trailer. But I do know about the trains. Okay, and let's make some reinforced iron plate. I need more screws. I have here. Inventory management. And I can make another personal chest, if I remember correctly. Let's start scattering personal storage chests everywhere. I should have just destroyed all of this copper. There's no reason for me to carry 1,000 copper around. Is there any move all of the same reason? Okay, there is. Nice. Control. Yeah, I discovered like 1 second. Like global inventory. I doubt it. Maybe like in Factorio, some kind of drones that will make management easier. Or something. Because, yeah, inventory management and movement is such a big part, and unlocking something like global... Oh, add to to-do list. Ah, interesting. Well, let's copy this one, that way it already has a recipe. Yeah, but okay, yeah, now in the next couple of days, behind scenes on stream, that's not something I will stream because of NDA reasons and doxing reasons. But for the next couple of days, I will be working on my PhD presentation. I need to make some videos. Oh, the only, like, most things I've seen with drones in... Okay, you do unlock... I unlocked global storage. The only things I've seen when it comes to drones in Satisfactory, it's kind of like those drone shows. I've seen them in real life as well. Oh, I've seen the smart splitters. I haven't actively searched things about the game, but I've stumbled upon some concepts, and I do remember seeing the smart splitters. The man. Okay, we need more. I think there's a lot of... Ah, it's the copper! The freaking copper that I added on a random chest is now getting processed here. I'm doomed by the copper. Yeah, because the space elevator... Our main limitation is copper. Fixed running is... Yeah. Coppers. Drones offer flexibility. Okay, let me just look at what space elevator. Some 60 more of those. Let's get all other resources, because I feel like I can get them easier. Let's grab 1 sack of potatoes. That's all the sack of potatoes we need. 50 more metal sheets. Okay, these and these. Okay, we need some more rods and then more copper coils, copper wire. Oh no! Now we have doubled our... And this is still suboptimal. I think I could get even more. Like, I could repeat this pattern more because these are slow. These are slower than our income of copper. But yeah, let's melt some copper myself. I mean, okay, let's make some wires. I think they are kind of fast. So pam 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 pam. I'm also going... Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity. Let's go leave the factory working and chop a few trees. Okay, one thing I really like about these games, I don't know why, but in general, I like when the music isn't always playing. Oh, they need a fuel to fly the drones. Okay, okay. So I get what you mean. They can become more of a hassle than a convenience. And yeah, we are talking about engineering, and engineering is all about balancing between hassle and convenience. You want things to be convenient, Because if they are a hassle, why are you doing it in the first place? It's the cargo capacity that's annoying. Ah. Getting a little bit of water. You can make a 90-degree turn with a conveyor by adding a perpendicular spot 2 grid spaces towards the source. Oh, I now get what you mean. Yeah, getting our... That's not something I think is worth doing for now. I have a feeling, but definitely as we get more permanent stuff, tidying up the conveyors... Drinks too, yes. Hydration, hydration. Remember, so many people are like, oh, I'm having trouble falling asleep. Oh, why do I have so many headaches? Oh, I feel horrible today. And sometimes it is a complex psychological nuance because we are other times you're just thirsty and you don't notice. In some ways, adults are big babies. And sometimes we're like, oh no, you... Imu, you can actually start playing the game when you get to steal. Before that, it's all spaghetti. Okay, okay. Let's get this here. And drop more wood here. But yeah, proper hydration. When I'm like, I have usually my food is very healthy. I'm someone who eats very healthy. Of course, I do have diabetes, so I need to watch what I eat. And even by habit, I'm a healthy eater. When I'm with friends, and sometimes we spend like a week together, first times it's okay. Like 3 or 4 times, you start noticing how much you get affected by unhealthy food. ADHD makes me not noticing much more than others, so I take almost any hint suggestion to drink water. I usually need it. Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight in real life, like I'm doing exercise and everything, not in the game. Like how I need in real life. And drinking water is something that helps you lose weight, because you shouldn't over drink water, by the way. That's another topic, another PSA. I think it's ADHD itself that makes people distracted from water, but I have no... But I do not know if it's ADHD or the ADHD medication. Yeah, for example, I have diabetes since I'm a kid, and one thing that makes me gain weight isn't diabetes, it's the diabetes medication. Injecting insulin helps you gain weight, but it's like almost all medicine has secondary effects. But usually, the secondary effects way outweigh the consequences of the lack of primary effect. And hello, Almantas! I am stretching! I do need to stretch. I mean, I have ADHD and when I take medication, I forgot to drink water or eat more often than if I don't take it. Autism helps me drink water at specific times. Yeah, as far as I know, I say that because I do know that diagnosis is a complex process. But as far as I know, I do not have anything related to ADHD or autism, but I am around a lot of people. And I do know that there's a lot of nuance and... I mean, what I'm going to say is what everyone says, but everyone says it, but it's... Because it's true. It is a spectrum. It's not black and white. It stops being spaghetti disappointing. Yeah, okay, Almatas. See, I do have my spaghetti part. That's the meat part. That's the part I use for... That's the part I use for thumbnails. I do have my spaghetti. Somebody touch my spaghetti. I do have some spaghetti. And I have an unfinished line there. But I do have my Veilfisk. Oh, I that's a name I recognize. Yes, I do know Veilfisk. Ooh, do not fall. Spaghetti meatballs. Okay, I'm waiting on copper. This game, by the way, Almadas gets me into the mood where, like, I could optimize things, but I just start jumping around and chatting. And that's a great mood to be in, if I'm honest, especially for streaming. Walking around and jumping while having a good chat is... Yeah, I need to extract from specific resources, that's true. But like, okay, since I have time, I'm going to make some of these conveyors neater. Because I can make them all be like a straight line. And have less, like, curves and things like that, and overlaps. Because, okay, this is the leftmost. Okay, this is iron. Okay, this is copper. Okay, that's annoying. Are you iron? No, you're lime. You're limestone. Oh, I remember seeing the Caterium. Is Caterium a real thing? Because I'm talking about copper alloys, I'm talking about steel alloys. Steel, for example, depending... that's something that for me is mind-boggling. Oh, Caterium is gold, okay. Is how steel and iron can be magnetic or not, depending on how you treat it.
This metallic element is showing properties similar to those in group 11 on the periodic table, such as high conductivity and malleability.
Yes, gold
Research
does
it
that.
in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Quantum, yes, quantum. Yeah, for example, you have a stainless steel that is magnetic. You heat it up, you let it cool down, now it is no longer magnetic. Why? Magic. A magic called physics. And I'm betting scanning is in the MAM. Caterium. Okay. Caterium ingot. Stainless steel. Yeah, you have 3 types of stainless steel. 3 families.
It has been added as a viable alternative to gold in
Okay.
industrial applications, specifically in advanced electronics due to its superconductivity, malleability, and corrosion resistance.
And it's one phenomena, speaking of gold, the gold-plated HDMI cables. I'm always like, this seems like it is kind of useless. That's always the feeling I've had when it's like, oh, we have an HDMI, and I do know that gold is a better conductor than copper. But I mean, gold plating an HDMI cable. Exactly, the improvement is so minuscule, it doesn't matter. I feel like it's one of those things. It's more about the trends and selling a product for more than it costs. Ferromagnetism is a result of the electrons being arranged in a specific set of shells. So if you excite them upwards, when they fall back down, they'll move into an equilibrium where they share shells, and therefore the ferromagnetism disappears. Okay, that is really cool. And yeah, there's 3 types of stainless steel. What were the names? I'm so bad with names. There's 3 families. And usually magnetism is one of the best ways to test which type of stainless steel you have. Which family of stainless steel we have. Because I think 2 of them are magnetic and 1 of them isn't. By the way, magnets? I know I'm not saying that magnets are magic. I'm about to make a different point. magnets are one of those things that scare me. I've seen super powerful magnets, and like just imagining myself getting my fingers pinched by them, I'm like, no. Yeah, they are magic, but yeah, magnet-related injuries are a thing. Some can be uncomfortable, others can be very serious. And I do not like to be in the same room as magnets. And especially because I do have my diabetes equipment, like my insulin pump and everything. And I'm always thinking, okay, are these magnets strong enough to affect my setup, my diabetes setup in a way? Oh, this needs to be flipped. Ah. Okay, what direction are you going in? Okay, that's correct. Oh yeah, getting iron dust with magnets, that's a common one. Ah. Okay, what was the hologram key? I think it's H. Oh, I can build backwards? Oh, okay, that's what I wanted to know. Building backwards is very useful. I'm trying to make things look nice. We also can make our power network look better in the future. I think if you look at that... Yeah, that adds an additional power there. Then I can connect it. Okay, I just need to delete this one. Everything will be powered down for a second. That's the one we want to destroy. Easy. Like engineering software, by the way, the main thing that people will start noticing, okay, this guy is an expert in this software, is the amount of hotkeys you know. I'm not even joking. Especially in CAD, knowing hotkeys saves you so many hours of time. Like, it is absolutely insane how much time you can save with the hotkeys alone. And in this game, I feel like the same effect. Just knowing the hotkeys is such a great help. Okay, this is the line that we want to. And Almantras, if you are still there, I'm also curious. I mean, I think I already know a little bit of your thoughts behind EU4, EU5. I spent so much time saying EU4. Wait till you get blueprints. I want to get blueprints. Everyone keeps telling me about blueprints. I really want to unlock blueprints. Okay, I think it's not perfect. I don't like how this goes so steep up and then down. But it is better. Let's demolish this relic of the past. And let's see if we have enough wire. ICP Miracle starts playing. Let's get more copper wire. Okay, let me think of another lesson of engineering. Hello, big guy. My main thought is I'm afraid that if I buy EU4 at release price, it will supernaturally and retroactively become terrible. Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know if this is the wound that you have, but it is the wound that a lot of people have. Civilization 7 is still very fresh in a lot of people's mind as something that was... I want to like the game so badly. I really want to like the game so much. And I do have fun playing the game from time to time. But comparing it to other Civilization experiences, I cannot put it at the same level. Armored Core 6. Ah, okay. And hello, Junken! Hello, hello! Welcome to the stream. Armored Core 6. For me, it was definitely Civ 7. The last... I was so excited. I'm so afraid of... Because tomorrow I'm streaming EU5. And I'm so afraid of... Okay, will my experience be the same as... Civ... But I mean, I do feel obliged to play EU5, especially because, I mean, I open up the game and a character designed by Loris is looking at me. Yes, I'm streaming the game tomorrow, Crab. I finished the important work deadline yesterday, so now I have a little bit of a free week ahead, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with a free week? Let's stream EU5. Hey, Jacket, irashaimase. No, I'm not. Jacket just popped up. If I start doing those quotes, he'll just pop away in seconds. But yes, we've talked a little bit about thermal treatments. I do remember... Okay, this is not an engineering story, but it is a story. I remember... This is a university story. I was studying thermal treatments at uni. It was actually, out of all of the materials lessons that we had a lot of classes on materials, I think thermal treatments was the most interesting one. Like quenching, annealing, treatments to the surface, different ways of heating up, of cooling down, cooling it slowly, tempering, yada yada. And that was during 4th year of university, yes. And I was really tired. And I was studying that, and I fell asleep on the bus. And when I woke up, it was like, Uni's here. And I left the bus in a rush. But my laptop didn't left the bus in a rush. And I was like, my heart skipped a beat. I remember that I was studying for an upcoming thermal treatment, and I just went to the bus station like running, like, and when I got there, they're like, oh, the bus just left, it's going to do all the route and then it comes back, and I'm like, oh, I hope the laptop is safe. And I was super nervous, and then they're like, oh, we just called the bus driver, someone reported your laptop and they gave it to the bus driver, you just need to wait like a couple of minutes, like almost an hour, and you'll have your laptop back. And I was like, woof. But I remember, while I was waiting for my laptop, all I had was my thermal treatments notebook, so I was at the bus central studying for thermal treatments of mostly steel. All metals can get thermal treatment, but steel is definitely the main one. You have some charts, the iron carbon phase diagrams, and those charts basically tell you how steel evolves based on the percentage of carbon. What's your favorite material? I'm divided. It's either steel or aluminium. I've worked with polymers quite a bit, and like plastics like PLA, ABS. And from working with plastics, I've developed a very profound hatred towards plastics. Oh, talking about materials, I don't know what my favorite one is. I don't like plastics, but I have ones that I hate even more. Number 1 least favorite material of all time. Graphite. Graphite is a nightmare. Because I worked in a metal workshop. Oh, so pretty. Aurora Borealis. I worked in a metal workshop. And a lot of people were sharing machines. And he hates rocks. And sometimes it's like, oh, people are working with graphite. And you know... Oh, I'll get to 3D printing as well. I love 3D printing, but because I love 3D printing, I also hate 3D printing. But now it's the graphite rant. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I want to use a CNC for some steel, cut some aluminum, sometimes even wood. I used wood on the workshop quite a bit. But then you had the graphite folk. Oh, we are conducting advanced tests. We need its thermal things. We need the dimensional stability. We need to use this in graphite. First things first, graphite is a natural lubricant. Like, you can use graphite to lubricate stuff. What that means is that any graphite dust in the floor, you will just fall. It's insanely slippery. There's metal dust in the floor, there's steel dust in the floor, it's safe. Graphite dust in the floor is extremely dangerous. Second, graphite conducts electricity. So, if you have any machines close while they are working with graphite, the graphite dust will seep into your machine and short-circuit it, because it is a conductive material that gets transformed into a very fine powder. And you are thinking, oh, that's already quite a lot of bad stuff you are listing. I'm just getting started. Another fault about graphite is breathing. Graphite is really bad for you. When I'm cutting steel, no one is breathing in steel. The steel doesn't get that small. When people cut graphite, graphite can get into your lungs and it's extremely bad. So people who are cutting graphite need to have like a whole setup there, and you also need to be wearing a mask. So graphite wins my #1 worst material ever. You knew when someone, like, I knew all graphite researchers. When I saw one of them opening the door, I was like, oh no. Oh no, not the graphite people. What do we do with graphite? Okay, graphite is used for a lot of... pencils is one of the good ones, but it's used for... the first thing I can think about is the spark plugs of automobiles. For example, graphite is good at... It handles a lot of heat, and it's good at conducting electricity. So for applications where you need a spark plug, like something that creates a spark with electricity, graphite is really good. But that was like a research center, so probably... Great for crucibles. Oh, yeah. When you're melting steel, you need something that resists a lot of temperature. And you make the crucibles where you pour the molten steel into out of graphite. And graphite deposits carbon. And when you're working with steel, often you want carbon to be deposited. So yeah, crucibles is another big application. A lot of things that, if you think high temperature, you often think ceramics, like bricks, like space bricks, quote unquote, and you think things like graphite. There was another type of people. They were not as bad as the graphite people, but they were horrible due to smell alone. And yeah, this is a little bit icky, but the bone people. Some researchers needed to work with bone, like do bone analysis. I know some people who needed a lot of ethics declarations to be working with bones in ethical matters and things like that. And I'm not that grossed out. Yes, bones. I'm not that grossed out by the bone itself. The problem was the smell. I don't want to be too graphic, but the smell that got into the workshop... Look at this Deadbeat hating his own people. I mean, I'm hating the destruction of my own people. The bone people, they were cutting bones and making test cylinders out of bone. And hello, J-Wafer, you arrived during quite a peculiar topic. We're talking about engineering, and I'm talking about the two materials that I hated the most being worked around on the workshop, and they were definitely bone and graphite. Okay, but yeah, 3D printing, PLA. I worked a lot with 3D printing, but most of it was during the early stages, when 3D printers were starting to become a thing. I hate the destruction of my own people, the bone people. And I spent more time fixing printers back then than using printers. You printed out one part, then, oh, this is broke. Oh, actually, that part is now broke. And it was frustrating. And nowadays, I have my printer running right now in my garage, producing stuff for me. And I can leave it running. It is safe, it is good, and it is super handy. And I have consistency. Definitely didn't expect material science to include bone, huh? There's especially... Sorry, I'll go back to the 3D printing. Yeah, material science, it's because there were people from biomechanics. People who, for example, develop dental implants. Or implants for... I remember someone was developing an implant to replace the nose bridge. People who break the bone nose bridge, they were developing a new implant. And they wanted it to mimic bone as closely as possible, so they were studying bone a lot. Yes, basically, if you're working in programming, your code word is AI. You put AI, you have money. In mechanical engineering is bioengineering. You put bioengineering, you have funding. You're working on teeth, you have money. You're working on prosthetics, you have money. That's the easiest shortcut to getting financed in mechanical engineering. But yeah, 3D printing, back then it was a nightmare. Now I have a modern 3D printer, it is so good. The only times it has failed is when I had a power shortage. Emo, everyone should own a 3D printer because it allows you to cheaply manufacture things that are hard to transport locally. On one hand, there is a truth to that, but and it's like, seize the means of production. But on the other hand, I feel like a lot of people shouldn't have a 3D printer because, for example, there's... PLA is one of the safest materials to work with in terms of toxicity and everything. Some are less safe, but even PLA itself, you shouldn't sleep in a room that's not ventilated and printing PLA. You need ventilation, and I think a lot of people wouldn't respect that, or like wire logistics. Oops. Yes, you shouldn't sleep where you 3D print, by the way, regardless of material. If it's industrial material like ABS, can be really toxic. PLA is very safe, but you still shouldn't sleep in a room where you print with PLA. That's why I have my printer in my garage. In the end, keeping world, lots of people get the idea of getting a 3D printer so they can get hand-printed nets more easily, but from everyone thing I've heard, a 3D printer is its own hobby. True. Definitely do not sleep in the same room when printing ABS or ASA. Yes! Ah, you live in a dorm. Try to get... There are ways to mitigating the risks, like print and have a window open or things like that. But yes, 3D printing, I now have a lot of know-how, that rhymed, and for me 3D printing is easy, but it is definitely, and it is way easier. One of those that is a possibility. But if you have no engineering background, if you're not a tinkerer, you have to understand that, for example, we were talking today about how some people love maths and others hate it. And hating maths has kind of become normalized, sadly. a lot of people hate to tinker with stuff. For some, it's like the biggest passion. I know a lot of people who are like, I wish I could be a full-time tinkerer. I wish I could... But yeah, you shouldn't think like everyone should do X. Because like some people are like, oh, why isn't everyone an artist? Like, we are all different. I do understand, and it's great because I know you are speaking because of how passionate you are. And you are saying that because, like, this is really cool. More people should get into it. Yeah, I agree as well, Junken. And especially our education system, that's what we were talking about. Our education system, when it handles maths, it does so in a very unproductive way. Oof, tinkering is so frustrating for me. Yes, I don't know why, but my hands get super exhausted super quickly. Yeah, I mean, education is the most important thing. It's probably the most important thing in our society. So I'm not talking about education against education as a concept. But I think education should be... Not saying what we'll need math for is a big problem for me. Yes, and for example, a lot of math that we learn in school and everything is way more complex than what I use in engineering. And other things that I use in engineering are more complex, but since they make sense, it becomes a lot easier. I feel like in basic education, we go way too far in some things. I'm like, people, and I'm a math supporter, I love math, but I'm like, people don't need this level of complexity. Okay, this is a big one. Let's use the H key for the hologram. How big? Oh wow! I'm like, this is definitely a big one. Let's go more here towards the edge. I don't think everyone should be a tinkerer. Some people tinker ignoring safety issues. That's another thing. There was a big people using microwave transformers to do world burning art and getting... Oh, that I wasn't remembering. I remember I remember exactly that trend. The microwave burning thing with transformers. So yeah, definitely... That's the one rule. The thing is, there are more rules, and people aren't ready for it. Use a soldering iron. That's more pyrography, and there are tools that are better than a soldering iron for pyrography. But what they were doing is something different. Okay. Okay. Now I'll be back to the Tinker. Oh, and we see all the resources flying there. Let's go! Okay, this is really cool. The hydraulics there. Oh, hydraulics. I wish that... Okay, if there's one field of engineering that I wish I knew more about, it would be pneumatics and hydraulics. I know a little bit. Oh! I was like, look, I was waiting for this to go up. No, it comes from there. It's coming down. We have coupling. We have our space elevator. Let's go! Space! I wanna go to space! Where's the door? Where's the door?
Project assembly initialized. Congratulations, Pioneer. The space elevator will now automatically connect with the Project Assembly orbital platform. Project assembly is divided into phases, each of which require the delivery of project parts, such as smart plating, via the space elevator. Subsequent phases unlock access to new tiers with more advanced technologies to construct, automate, explore, and exploit. It is time to be honest. This project is part of the Save the Day program, the largest united undertaking in human history, destined to save us all.
That's
Earth is in
important.
peril and only Fix-It pioneers offer hope for survival. Fix-It is counting on you. Humanity is counting on you. Do not let Fix-It down.
Oh no, humanity is doomed! They are counting on me! You are doomed! I need the tubes to go to space, okay. But yes, cargo dropping makes a lot more sense. Square hydraulics, true. Round ones would be more common. They are probably not... like, linear actuators, this is a linear actuator, are so useful. And I worked with electrical linear actuators. I'm going to tell you one of the main advantages is that if this is only rotational, you need to have power to hold the position. You cut the power, this falls. When these are electrical actuators, or something that is a pressurized system with pneumatics or hydraulics, even if there's a power failure, if the system is well designed, things will hold in place. And that's very important for safety features. Yeah, I worked mostly with electrical. That's the... Usually it's like a scale. Electrical is low force. Pneumatic is medium force. And hydraulic is like the most powerful. And yeah, I worked with a lot of... Michan claiming the first right now. I worked with a lot of robots. And in robots, you do not want... In domestic robots, not factory robots, you do not want dirtiness. So, yeah, hydraulics are not... It's very easy to get oil everywhere. Oil is such a mess. And yeah, and Michan was actually first. It is true, so late, but rightfully so. Exactly, Fallon. Late but earned. Okay, I need to make 50. See, 50 of those. What are those? I remember that there was a specific 3D printer model in the day that the Z-axis would literally drop to the ground if power went down. Yeah! Oil is a mess in my kitchen. Yeah, regular oil is bad. Engine oil and things like that is even worse. And by the way... for example, one of the dreams of a lot of engineers is to work in... okay, I need heavy plates and I'm going to make a plant for that. With the iron that I have left over, and I may build it over here. So I can feed it into there. But, okay, what was I going to say? I was talking about oils. Oh! A lot of engineers, mechanical engineers, wish to work in the food industry. Because, for example, you work in metal foundries. It is so hot. I know people who, like, have leaned against the wrong machine. And the consequences were quite dire. Not permanent injuries, but very severe burns. Because they are working in environments where some machines can get up to 2000 degrees and something. If there is one industry everyone... Not everyone, but most engineers want to work on, is the food industry. I mean, not some food industries, like some animal things can be a little bit but I'm talking ice cream, I'm talking pastry, because it is so clean, and the smells are so pleasant, and the lubricant they use instead of oil there, because... They need to... Like, lubricant won't get into your food, but food industry is very regulated, and they need to think of... Okay, it won't, but what if it does? It's not supposed to, but what if the system fails? So, most lubricants used in food industry, and it is a great lubricant, is actually just fat. Like Willy Wonka factory. It is true. A lot of people, I know a lot of engineers, is like, I work in pastry now. Everything smells well. My hands aren't super dirty. Yeah, oh, molten plastic is dangerous a lot, and I'm careful, and I got a finger burn that was quite bad. It wasn't permanent, luckily, but I got quite badly burned in 3D printing, like fixing a printer, and I needed to fix it hot, and I had fixed it before like thousands of times, and that day I was just tired. Working well tired is a bad idea, and I grabbed onto something super hot very quickly, and it was painful. I was changing a nozzle. Yes, I was changing a nozzle. Yes, I was changing a nozzle. I think that was what I was doing. Yeah, and the problem with molten plastic is that it sticks to you, and that's really bad. For example, in a lot of... This is a fun safety thing. Gloves. Gloves are a very fun thing in safety. For example, if you're working in a metal lathe, a lot of people are like, oh, use your protection equipment. Use your eye protection. Use your gloves. Gloves are great for some things, but while eye protection is great all the time, always use your eye protection, gloves can actually be bad for you. Gloves can be a huge safety hazard. Gloves aren't one of those things that's quote-unquote always good. Definitely. And if you're working in a metal lathe, if you touch a rotating part with your finger, usually your finger just gets, like, pushed away. If you're very unlucky, very, very unlucky in the way you touch it, the rotating part, you may break one bone, but that's it. I have touched rotating parts, and I had 0 injuries. And I touched them on purpose. Like, if I was wearing gloves when I touched those parts, that I could have lost a finger or something. You do not want to use gloves around rotating machines. Another example, yeah, you're saying liquid nitrogen, and a lot of hot materials as well. You can use some gloves, but definitely not regular gloves. They have to be like... I ate a nut. They have to be specific gloves. Not like regular cheap plastic. And the same for chemistry as well. It is very important to know how different chemicals react with your gloves. Especially because being unsafe is bad. Yes, exactly. Sorry, Fel. Exactly that. Exactly that. It's like hair and beard needs to be stowed away, because the mechanism a lot of times will just push your hand. It will just push you away, and you'll be like, "Oh no, I touched that." If it's a glove, it grabs it. It grabs the plastic, and then, depending on how lucky or unlucky you are, the consequences can be extremely dire. But yeah, the problem is the grabbing part. The same, for example, working with a drill. A drill is not that dangerous, but if a drill grabs a glove, it can be absolutely dangerous. And like, not all drills are the same. There's different grades. The zoop mechanic, the fact that I can just boop and build 3 at the same time is so good. This game is so good. I like talking about engineering. The game is really good. So let's start with our buffer. I'm going to start from the corner. Oh yeah, escalators. Yeah. Yeah, someone the other day was telling me like, oh, I hate escalators. I'm afraid of escalators. And I'm like, I'm not afraid of them. But I understand. I respect them. And there are more ways where they can be dangerous. Like in concerts or things like that. When they are crowded, even without a mechanical even without mechanical flaws or any failure in a crowded situation, escalators can turn into dangerous traps by themselves, just the escalator alone. I got my hair got in the drill a couple of times. Ah, nothing serious, just a... Yeah, but that's the thing. You say nothing serious? That can depend on the type of drill. I'm glad you had nothing serious. And I hope everyone who is here never has anything serious. How do the walls look? I'm curious. But things can turn serious quickly. Okay. Oh no, no, do not split, do not split. One serious problem is to... Exactly. And we have a rule, there's a rule of thumb. Like, if you're... Imagine you're organizing... Okay, how am I going to cut this? How am I going to do this operation? You need to think about priorities of damage. The first thing that can be damaged is the part you are working on. It is rough, but that should be your first failure point. That should be the thing that is most vulnerable. The second one is the tool head. Some tool heads are very cheap. In some applications, the tool head can be... For example, if you're talking about a drill, there's a huge apparatus, which is the machine that makes the thing roll. And then you have what we call the tool bit, which is like the drill itself. A lot of drills just cost €1.50. Not the wrapper. I'm talking about a different thing. Why do I have a nut in my hand? But a lot of drills are cheap. They are not something that expensive. And if they get damaged, so be it. The consequences are not that dire. So, you can damage the bit or the... No, not the November Nano, true! What am I doing? You can damage the bit. Where's my shock thingy? Did I lose my shock thingy? Are you my shock thingy? No, your splitter remains. I lost my zapper. Okay. First thing part or the drill head. Oh, it's expensive. Second thing is the machine itself. If the machine itself gets damaged, it is bad. But so be it, in a way. And the last thing that should be injured in the equation is you. Like, you are the... That's why we have codes of safety. That's why we have regulations. That's why we have safe zones. Oh, I can tell an interesting story. So let me just read. Is that still a thing? Lol. I think it is. My dad got a couple bad injuries because he didn't take safety serious. Yeah. And I had this talk, I think it was last stream, where most people who get injured are not the newcomers, are almost often the veterans who get too comfortable. And that it's just, people with a lot of experience tend to be the ones who get the more serious injuries, because they've done those things so many times, and they their brain goes into an automation mode. And some things are not safe to tackle in automation. That's any job, to be honest. True. Overconfidence. Yes. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. As the guy from Darkest Dungeon says. He said the thing! I need to add on because one of my expertise is memes. I don't know why. I need to add redeems on Twitch that is me saying memes. Like that. How is Bobby formed? How is Bobby formed? How girls get pregnant? They need to do a insane mother who killed their aunt because this baby wanna freak back It was on the news this morning. A mother in Ark who had killed the 3 kids. Now, they are taking the lady back to New York to lay it to rest. My parry on with the father who lost his children. I am truly sorry for your loss. I need to get more. I need to memorize my. You could make security systems for humans for all machines, though. No, like for lathes, you could probably just computer vision or like LiDAR or something. Yeah, it will be expensive, but life is worth more. Sometimes, sometimes more automated stuff doesn't necessarily mean safer stuff. Because you can get cameras or something, but then you have flaws, and you will... Oh, I get what you mean, and for example, some positions, some professions are way safer nowadays thanks to advancements in technologies, and I'm extremely thankful for that. A lot of professions are way safer, and some of them are even eliminated, and sometimes we talk about, oh, machines are taking our jobs. Some of those jobs, I'm glad they have been taken over by machines. No, there are jobs no human should be doing. But at the same time, sometimes too much automation can actually make systems less safe and less accurate. It sounds silly, but if I want to produce one part in a lathe, like one single part, doing it through CNC is such a laborious process. CNC, like computer machine, is good for producing, okay, either a very specific part that a human operator couldn't do, or like if it's a very, very specific part, even if it's just one, CNC is good, or producing 1,000 of the same part. If you want a simple part, but just one of them, getting a human to do it usually is fast, safe, and not a lot of injuries. Another example is how cars have gotten so more safety features, yet deaths are rising in some countries. And a lot of things, I was about to say that. One of the most important things in safety, one of the most dangerous mindsets, is feeling safe when you aren't. Having an illusion of safety is so dangerous. And I feel like a lot of technology has given people that. The false sense of security, exactly. We've heard it many, many times, like, self-driving cars are becoming more and more developed, but they aren't a thing yet. There's no safe self-driving cars. And some people are like, because of propaganda, because of things like that, no one, like, if I'm selling a car, I don't want to tell people, oh, I'm selling a car and this is self-driving, but it's still prototype technology, you shouldn't trust this 100%. That's not the selling pitch you want to make. It is the selling pitch you should make, but no one wants to sell a product like that. And because of that, people get overconfident. And then, yeah, they, for example, are texting while driving. They don't have their eyes on the road. Cute pictures of people on letters on top of letters on top of letters. Yes. There is a lot of goofiness. What do I need to complete this part? I got completely sidetracked during the conversations. Oh, okay, let me get the assembly, the part assembly. Okay, I need 4 rotors to build this. Yeah, but more automation doesn't automatically equate to safety. Okay, the number one thing I wasn't expecting from this game and that I'm loving is the Warframe movement mechanics. I doubt that Almantas is still here because probably he's busy or maybe he's lurking, but he's a fellow Warframe enjoyer. Movement in this game somehow feels very Warframey. And anyone who plays Warframe knows that the best thing about Warframe is movement. Like, parkouring in this game is very rewarding, and that's not a feature I was expecting from my factory game. But yes, we need the assembler, and that's the final part. Let me get on the... Jump pants and zip lines. Oh yeah, I know that movement can go even crazier. Okay, I want to build smart platings. And those take reinforced iron plates and rotors. Oh, a streamer I watch on the morning has also been... Warframe is such a great game. I really like Warframe. Okay, this is very... I need bolts. I need a little bit of everything. And I need two more assemblers if I want to automate this. Ziplining on electric wires? That just reminds me of one of my classics of the good old PS3 era, which is... It's not exactly ziplining on electric... but anything electrical reminds me of Infamous. The PS3 era, especially the early PS3 era, was my main gaming era. But yeah, Warframe? I have probably around 1,000 hours on Warframe. It is one of my most played games of all time. I think Warframe is a superb game. I got a little bit burned out of it at times, and especially, I don't know why, something about that game, maybe, I think it's the shooter element, playing with a mouse and a controller was giving me a little bit of carpal tunnel. And I need to be very careful with my hands because I have a history with hand injuries and things like that, so I am careful. But if not for that, I would probably still be playing a lot of Warframe. Need more reinforced iron plates. Probably I'm going to extend this that way. Let's get this output. No! Jump! Ah, nice. And I can get one of these there. Yeah, Warframe, like, the story, the amount of content the game has. If you want a game for you and your friends to sink in a ton of hours, that is free. Oh, I learned to switch the mouse to my non-dominant hand. Okay. On my peak hand injury stage... My peak hand injury stage was not because of any game. I didn't get my peak injuries because of any game at all. It was because of... I was working on my thesis and writing my book at the same time and spending way too much time typing on the computer. That's how I developed my peak hand injury. And it was a nerve damage to my cubital bone, to cubital nerve. That's not a bone, that's a nerve. That caused me pain for like 4 or 5 years. That's why I'm very careful. And when I had the peak of that injury, I was in the middle of a lot of deadlines. And what I did... My hand was hurting, the injury was in my shoulder, I didn't know it, but what hurt was the hand, because that's how nerves work. And my hand was hurting so much, I was dipping my right hand in ice, while typing only with my left hand. I continued working. And yeah, that was cubital tunnel. Carpal tunnel is more common, but I think cubital tunnel can be worse. I mean, it depends on... You can get severity on both of them. Mine was definitely severe. Sadly, I'm not proud of that. I'm like, oh, look, I had a very... Nowadays, I was like... Doctors followed me. They were like, will you have to do surgery? Will you not have to do surgery? I didn't end up doing surgery. and I think I was lucky in a way, and I got no permanent damage, but it was not something good. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. I recommend Warframe. I do not recommend cubital nerve pinching at the shoulder. So iron plate screws, iron rod screws. So now I think one of these can be a constructor. Yeah, nowadays with computer and now I have another thing that helped is that back then I don't think my ergonomics of my setup was the best. Now I have very good ergonomics in terms of chair positioning, in terms of all of that. Now my setup is how it should have been. Okay, and these are the plates, because plates won't need anything else. We can get iron plates up and running here. Okay, I need some power. Let's get a new power pole here. Bless the vertical mice. Yeah, I'm using a vertical mice. I'm using an ergonomic keyboard. I'm using a very good chair. Like, all of that costs money, of course. But I think it is an investment that was very worth it. Will my power go out? Yeah, and especially it's like you spend money now, but if I didn't have to go surgery, I mean, healthcare, luckily in Portugal, is cheap. Most of it, if it's a serious thing. Some diseases can get a little bit unlucky, but a lot of serious problems, fortunately, the state covers all costs. I'm talking carefully because I do know that there's some... Did I make this? This is not snapping to world, I forgot to do that. Life conditions in Portugal, healthcare is amazing, in my opinion. A lot of people will disagree with me. I've had a lot of exposition to healthcare services, and I think healthcare in Portugal is really good compared to knowing the reality of some other countries and things like that. I think our healthcare is really good. Education is good. University education, I mean, it's always hard because who am I comparing myself to? Am I comparing myself to the States where universities are amazing but super expensive? Or am I comparing myself, for example, to Luxembourg that has free public transportation? That is a different topic, but Luxembourg has a lot of amazing stuff. But I think the level of life in Portugal is quite good. The main problem, I would say right now, is that prices got way higher for everything. Because our prices are now more leveled with the rest of Europe. But our wages aren't. And especially the housing prices are insane. So the cost of living right now is not sustainable for Portuguese people. I think that's the main problem. I think life is good here. And I've heard a lot of Portuguese people say specifically this, like, oh, Portugal is amazing if you have enough money and no... Oh, these iron ingots also... Oh, these are iron ingots. Okay, sorry. I've heard a lot of people saying that, oh, Portugal is amazing if you have an amount of money that most Portuguese don't have. Yeah, it is a global issue, but even within the global issue, there are reports that Portugal is kind of like one of the worst ones. Like, everyone is suffering, but when it comes to housing to wage relationship, we are definitely unfortunate. The housing market prices versus median Portuguese income is... Yeah, it's like... When I say this, everyone says like, oh, it's a problem everywhere. Like, trust me. Here, the house... Like, it is a problem everywhere. Here, it is really bad. Here, like, the average age to leave your parents' home in Portugal right now is around 30. And the only reason is Portugal youth wants to leave their parents' homes, but no one can afford to. That's the sole reason. Need more reinforced iron plate. Yeah, the average age, I think we are either first or second in Europe when it comes to highest average age in... I mean, a lot of places are great to live if you have a lot of money. True, I think Portugal is... thought Europe was where the gentrification people came from. I mean, but yeah, Portugal is kinda... Like, I always need to be careful because I'm speaking with a broad audience. I was saying like, oh, people in Portugal have no purchasing power. And the person I was speaking to was like, bro, I'm from Colombia. Do you think I have a good purchasing power with the life I... And I'm like, yeah! Like, in the European context, Portugal is one of the worst ones in terms of purchasing power, in terms of everything. But not on a global scale. But yes, what's happening to Portugal is what happens in a lot of countries. The gentrification issues and everything. We have people from the United States, from the Netherlands. But I mean, I don't blame people who come live here. I don't like that mindset at all. And I don't think that is the main reason for the issues. I think it's really... I'm not an expert. I think it's about the market, about how things aren't regulated well enough, about lack of taxation in some regards, but I'm not an expert in those topics. And usually, when I say I'm not an expert, I mean that I know that when you're not an expert, you can say things with a good intention, but you're actually saying the most stupid thing ever. So I'm careful about my word choices, because I know that I'm definitely not someone who has mastered. I know the reality that we do not have a lot of purchasing power. Like, I guess a Latin America has to work 15 years in their country to get a house in their country, and a Portuguese has to work 100 years in Portugal to get a house in Portugal. Yeah, I mean, if someone is earning minimum wage and renting a single room is 700, and most of the jobs are there, how are young people supposed to leave their homes? Exactly. And for example, we are not talking about people like who aren't qualified or things like that, and people who aren't qualified also should be earning more. But we are talking engineers. I have colleagues in engineering who are earning basically the minimum wage. One of the problems we have in Portugal is that the minimum wage and the average wage are almost the same. So most people have no purchasing power. And yeah. Then we just have everyone living at their parents' place. For me, the weirder one is really the people who get married, and they're like, okay, we are going to live with... I mean, it's weird, but it's... I understand it. It's like, okay, we got married, but let's live with the parents of one of us, because it's cheaper. And that's a reality here. Okay, here we make screws. And here we make... Yeah, but I think for even in a lot of day-to-day life things and everything, I'm someone who will criticize Portugal in a lot of things, but I also think it is a really cool country in a lot of ways. Yeah, race to the bottom, exactly. Press R to set the belt. Oh. I'll set the belt to the input and go back to spaces. No. Don't curve it. Oh, build mode curve. Okay, it'll give you a 90. Oh, I know what you're talking about, but okay. Oh, if I set it to straight. Okay, now I think it's making more of the. Is it making 90 degrees thingies automatically now? I will need to check more. Yes, okay, okay. Okay, screws with iron rods. Why aren't... Oh. But this way it's symmetrical. And it's kind of the same. I do get what you mean. Yeah, you need power. And now all of this should be set up. We have set up our second factory, and all of this should start feeding into the... I need to use ladders more instead of jumping like a... just for immersion. Oh, by the way, I talked a little bit about CNC machining, and that's kind of what we are doing here. These are all basically CNC machines. You program CNC machines using G-code. It's not G-fuel, it's G-code. Which is kind of a peculiar coding language. It's like, each G is a command. Like, yes, 3D printing also uses G-code. You are absolutely correct. Nowadays, I think almost all 3D printers use G-code. I mean, and 3D printers are CNC machines. They are just adding instead of subtracting. They are CNC machines in a way, literally. But when I'm talking about CNC, I'm talking about like lathes, I'm talking about fresadoras. I have no idea how to say fresadoras in English. Reverse CNC, yes. Because CNC is just numeric control computation. I have no idea what the control I forgot what CNC stands for. But yeah, 3D printing is a CNC machine. Yeah, I think we just need more power. Power! Unlimited power, because we added all of those. Okay, let's move you back. Now, this will not be distributed equally, because these two will have 1/3, 1/3, then 1/3 comes here, and this third will be split into 2/3. Computer numerical control. Yes, okay. Yeah, and 3D printers are CNC machines. But when we use a lot of the when I'm talking about... Oh, fresador is a milling machine. Thank you, thank you. Had to look it up. Yeah, when you work with a lot of specific things... And like, some things I do know because of writing my reports. And I did wrote a lot of reports on lathe working. I don't like it, but it's going to stay. Wait, are you? Oh yeah, you're a biomass burner. Yeah, okay, and those will get split. And then we can turn it back up. But, yeah, for CNC machines, usually you want to write a program. It can be, depending on the CNC machine, some you need to write by hand. Nowadays, most of them, you can get the model in. But, I mean, when I worked with CNCs, it was a very archaic one. I'm guessing it's like 3D printing. Nowadays, it's easier. Mine was like, okay, this is not working. When this doesn't work, you need to turn on the oil pump manually. You need to change this and that. I haven't plugged this into my network. It was really scuffed, the CNC setup I worked with. When we think CNC, we think modern technology. I was not working with modern technology at all. We do with my CNC stuff. Things were rough. But hey, I produced some parts. I know how to work with a CNC. And another thing that's really important, when we're talking about materials that I like and don't like, yes, because of lack of control, lack of rigor, sizes were turning different and things like that. I've learned to not like 3D printing in engineering, because coherence is one of the most important things in engineering, and I was not getting coherence from my 3D printing at the time. Steel is very coherent, and aluminum, and they have great, they're easy to work with, they're amazing. The strength to weight ratio, they're such versatile materials. I mean, there's a reason why, and not that expensive, there's a reason why almost everything around us is made of aluminum and steel. Aluminium and steel. But one thing you learn when you have to work with those materials hand in hand is that not all steels are created equal. You'll learn that very, very quickly. Are those your favorite materials? Yes. I left that question unanswered. Aluminum and steel are my favorite materials. Aluminum number 1 for one simple reason. And it's not the weight or anything. I will give a metaphorical cookie. I have no way to hand it out, but to whoever gets what the reason is that I prefer aluminum over steel. There's one very specific reason. I wonder if anyone will get it. It is a key different, easier to work with. I think both are easy, but I would say steel is a bit easier. Lighter, it's the density, I know it by heart. The density of aluminum is 1/3 of the density of steel, but it's not the main reason why I prefer aluminum. I think I'm going to reveal it, because it is a bit specific, but it's specific and obvious at the same time. And it is called oxidation. Steel easily gets oxidated, and that is way more annoying than you believe. And you may say, oh, stainless steel, and I'm like, yeah, I would use stainless steel, but stainless steel is expensive. I can't build an entire robot out of stainless steel. Most of my robot was construction steel, but yeah, it oxidizes right away. You need to cover it in oil for it not to oxidize right away, and then you need to add some protections, and depending on the part that you are building, like sometimes a coat of paint is enough, but it's just the fact that you need to think about that is so annoying. And yes, stainless steel is amazing. Stainless steel is a top material, but it's expensive. It's like titanium. I mean, titanium is even more rare, But it's like, yeah, titanium is impeccable, but I'm not made of gold. I can afford titanium for all of my projects. But yes, I would prefer aluminum just because I know that it won't get oxidized. Fun fact. Oh yeah, stainless steel isn't all the same. And yeah, and one thing is oxidation, another thing is corrosion or exposure to water. We have a mixture, there's an alloy, in Portuguese we call it aço almirantado. It's like steel of the admiral in Portuguese, and that's steel made to work underwater in the sea. And that's not like your regular stainless steel. If you get your regular stainless steel underwater in the sea, it won't have a good time against salt and corrosion. But okay, fun fact about the oxidation of aluminum. Aluminum actually oxidizes, but it's kind of like copper. When we look at, for example, the Statue of Liberty, which is made of copper or bronze, it has oxidized. That's why it's green. But it is a beneficial oxidation. It doesn't compromise the resistance, and it gives a cover, a patina, that protects the inside. It protects the inside of the structure. The exact same thing happens with aluminum. Most aluminum we see is actually oxidized, but it looks the same as regular aluminum, the oxidized aluminum, and it doesn't affect the properties of it at all. So sometimes when we see something that doesn't oxidize, and I mean oxidize, I think the word oxidation is only for iron. No, that's rust. Rust is only for iron. Oxidation happens everywhere. Yes. Rust, when you say, oh, aluminum rust. No. Rust is only iron. A lot of government buildings here have green roofs since they are made of bronze or copper. Yeah, could be copper with a little bit. Because probably the specific... For the application, the specific concentration is not that rigorous, so it could be copper with a little bit of... Isn't copper like super expensive? No, copper is not that expensive of a material. I think when people talk about stealing copper and such, it's just about accessibility and a lot of them. Copper is not that expensive of a material. We talked about stainless steel. Stainless steel is way more expensive than copper. And these buildings are all as well. Yeah, copper became more expensive because there's more demand. Because of all the electronics. Yeah, the thing about copper is also like... the dimension. And when we... Okay, there's another... We're talking about materials. Here's a good... an interesting yet dramatic story about a material that contributed to the collapse of an empire. Did you know that one single material contributed to the collapse of a huge empire? And the empire I'm talking about is the Roman Empire. And that material is lead. Is it Rome? Yes, it is Rome. Good to have fun building. Thank you for dropping by, Lev. D1100. And I hope the stream was entertaining. I hope you had a good time today with the yaps. And thanks for dropping by. Always appreciate the support. Exactly. Lead, I think it's not pure lead. It's like lead acetate or something. Is a sweetener. It's like sugar. It is a way to produce a substitute to sugar. But lead is not that healthy for the human body. And other than that, that's one part of the lead. The other one is pipes. Because we are talking about copper and there are copper pipes. There are various materials of pipes. One quote-unquote good material for pipes is lead. And the Roman Empire had a lot of lead pipes that channeled drinking water. If it was wastewater, it's fine. For drinking water, not that fine. Oh, this reminds me of... What's the name of that aluminum profile? They call it like maker beams. There are some aluminum beams for people who like to do hobbing that are like called maker beams, and they remind me of this profile. They're really cool. But yeah, there are other things. V slots. I don't think that aluminium. Okay, I'm actually need to Google them. And since we are waiting for progress, I can do it while streaming. What's the name of those? Yeah, they are actually called Maker Beam. If you look up Maker Beam, they are literally what I was talking about. And these are very cool because they have a lot of standardized components, like joints. I'm seeing these joints here. They have a lot of standardized components. And if you need to build a framework, if you want to build a structure, like, oh, I want to build those square ones in a pattern in the center. Yes! If you want to build a structure that is simple, the maker beams can be very useful for some. They're not useful for everything, but they're aluminium beams that are very handy for some make-it-yourself projects. Okay, I need to get some more. Yeah, they are the square ones with a pattern in the center. Okay, I can get some from the backlog here. Not the most efficient. If I get these, like, oversaturated, it's going to be a lot easier, because then I can just pick them up from the backlog. But yeah, lead is one material. There is also a color, talking about important materials. There was a color called Shell. If I translate it to English, maybe shell green. That was really trendy around the time of Napoleon, for example. Are you stuck, bro? And that color was like super trendy. Everyone wanted to have shell. But actually, when you expose that color to humidity, to moisture, it releases a toxin that is extremely dangerous. And I think some people believe that Napoleon passed away because of poisoning from that same color. Yeah, it is a color. I mean, of course, nowadays it isn't used. But because of the chemical composition of the color, when it's dry, no problem. When it's exposed to humidity, and if you have a wallpaper that's entirely made of that color, your exposition level will be quite high. Yeah, material science is a huge topic. Hello, cutie. And one thing that is also huge, yeah, some pigments stop being used because of really serious safety concerns. For example, cannot help them with berries. Oh, the lizard doggo. I used to have a berry. Oh no, it was a ball, a nut. I will take. Today, let me look at the time. Yeah, I'll probably maybe wait for phase 1 to complete. And we will cut it soon. I think you have berries. Oh, pale berries, yes. But now I lost. Okay, these berries look like the okay, you're not the doggo. Look like the least tasty thing I've ever seen. They look like the disgusting cousin of a blackberry. Blackberries are so good. This looks so gross. I don't want to eat this. This looks vile. Ew, let me get it into the the machine on there. Oh, I can do more research there while I'm at it. Where's the thingamajig? The ma'am. Hello, ma'am. I remember, yes. Oh, I don't think I can do it because it's in my hand. Oh, I don't want to build a power pole. H, I need to memorize this hotkey. Start research. Bacon tree?
The pale berry, due to its tendency to stay light in color even when ripe, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available.
Quick wire. Ooh. Stun rebar. Oh, zipline is here. Oh, I was like, oh, zipline. I'm like, huh? Okay. But yeah, let's get some more. Oh, I would need. Can I scan for Kalium now? Or is that node that I had before? Caterium, not Kalium. Oof. Is this the... I remember... Oh, there's one there. Because I remember there was one resource that people were like... Oh, people... I think it was Michan. Was like, oh, there's one resource that you're not going to get close by. But this seems quite decently closed. Oof. Let's try to get the jumping pattern going. Oof. And there's some copper. I mean, no need to mine it. Are you also copper? Yes. Caterium. Okay, 100 meters up. Sorry? Walking in the park with a chainsaw in hand. Bauxite. What was bauxite? I remember that's a rock. And what isn't it used for? Oh, I remember. It's for aluminum. Yes, exactly. It's the ore. I was like, I know that name. Okay, this is not the tool you want. This is not the tool you want. This is the tool you want. Yeah, bauxite is for aluminium. Iron. And these are impure. Okay, 130 that way. It's usually where new players start to struggle. Come on. Oh! No! Ah! Or platform. Platform is a good idea. I was thinking... Do I grab this? I don't remember. The bad thing is using it. I can collect it, right? Yes, yeah. I should not use it, but I should collect it. Right? You can grab it, no problem. Okay. Grab the sluggy. Oh, I need to... Okay, let's build a... Okay, that was kind of a fail. coalesce? Wait, where was the coalesce? I didn't see the coalesce. I know what the coalesce is. Oh, the cool slug. I was thinking about the thing that everyone used to draw. I assume you're saying S for slug, and not the coalesce that everyone used to. Oh. Oh, wait, but when using it, you want to research slopes first. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Thank you. The weird school S thing. What's up, Nan Donuts? Hello. Oh. Hello, Pickle McDillionaire. And by the way, you're talking about that. I do, like, the artist that does a lot of cool stuff for my channel, Kaula Rivas, has done the drawing for my mascot, my fan base. Oh, I can... And let me tell you, it is so cool. I'm so happy with how it turned out. This is more handy than I was about to build platforms, but this is cooler. Wait, this is a spot, right? Let me just take care of fire guy. I've played thousands of video games. I know how to kite. Because I saw this. Yeah, this is... Oh, you have two explosives. Ah. I mean, at least I can mine this. And now I know. You know that you're there? Yeah. Oh, but I can put portable... I think I only have one. And it is pure, so it is a good... It is a good one. I'll take at least... And I appreciate the fact, by the way, I'm not mad, on the contrary. I appreciate the fact that you waited until I was here to tell me about the mistake I was doing. And I didn't bring enough iron plates so I was like, at least I can build the conveyor belt back, but I didn't bring enough iron plates. So not even that. But I appreciate the not telling me. And funny, who is funny, by the way? It's better to see than... Yeah, exactly, I agree. One of you forgot, the other preserved the experience. I'm glad you explained, because probably I would be... Oh, the tower... Okay, the space elevator looks really cool from this. Ooh, golden one. But the... This game is way too good at distracting me. But I'm glad you explained it once I saw there, because maybe I would have wasted a lot of time wandering around. Is that going? 13 out of 50. Is that going up or has it stopped? Do we have a power outage? Ooh, shiny. No, power is running. Yeah, I think it's just slow. I think the layout I have there. Yeah, there's one on the way. Look at it go. Our smart plating. Okay, where are we struggling? Where's... So we have enough of these. It's good that these are backlogged, because now, when these resources get divided, or not now, but soon, once this gets enough of a backlog, all of our plates will go there. Yeah, this is full, and that way our iron ingots will go more towards these. Okay, purple slug is best slug. I would assume gold. Like, standard loot system. White, common, blue, rare. Let me get some screws. Can I put on... Yes, I can... Yeah, let me grab screws from the other assembly because they're our bottleneck. And we want this to speed up. Blue, yellow, purple. And then double it with the cool S's. Hello! Wee! Okay, that was kind of a glitchy wee. Oh, I can go on top of the miners as well. I like the fact that a lot of buildings have ladders and have clearly walkable designs. Because, yeah, engineers would need to perform maintenance here. Moving parts. Moving parts is the bane of everything. Like, the more moving parts you have in a system, the more complex it will be. Oh, and I can bring you... I can teach you an interesting concept. This is one of the most important concepts from my work. Can buy walking paths. Oh, nice, nice, nice. That will click into those slots. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. I need... I haven't set it up next. Next time I need to set up my send garbage to garbage and get a lot of points for the cool store. I love the fact that the paths click. And then I can build walkways and start having things on 2 tiers. Because yes, we are still a little bit 2D. I want to get more 3D in the future. While not being spaghetti. A lot of people use 3D to go spaghetti. I want to use 3D with elegance. Mucho elegante. 3D. Okay, now... These should be working non-stop. These assemblers. Okay, I'm going to teach you a concept that one of the most important concepts of my work, which is called degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is basically... They must be fully walkable and no clipping around. Yeah. I will talk about degrees of freedom once I handle the power crisis. There's our power system. Do I have wood with me? Yes, I do. All of you are... Oh, that's the clipping rock. Why are you... What increased our power? Oh, it's because those are working non-stop. Because those are... Our system wasn't prepared to have those working non-stop. The reason why power wasn't going out was because we are not... Those weren't always working. And now I need iron plates. Makes sense. And now I want to have moving parts to explain degrees of freedom. Because degrees of freedom are very cool. And as I said, it is one of the most important things in my entire work. Perfect rest. Degrees of freedom! It's degrees. Crouch. Degrees. Yeah, I know. I'm just clearing it for everyone. That was a good one. Degrees of freedom. I love myself puns. Some people take physical damage from them. For me, be them good, be them bad. I love creativity with language. Oh, this I wanted to go to the powers area. Spaghetti, yeah, spaghetti factories have their own charm. The crazy mastermind, who is like, I'm the only person who will ever know how to navigate this factory. Huh? Monday? Let's... Oh, my code, speaking of... One day I need to do a stream after I finish my PhD. I'll do a stream showing abominations that I've programmed. I've done a lot of not hygienic coding. Oh, that's not connected. I've done a lot of coding that will make people angry. Yes. It's gonna be... I should have saved it for Halloween. Next Halloween stream, it's gonna be my own code review. It is really, really bad. Like, having a function where you have like 60 input variables and 60 output variables and things like that. And things could have been sorted into arrays, but they aren't. If it works, the funnier the better, exactly. And there's some artists that have done amazing things, and when it comes to mechanism design, one of the most important concepts is degrees of freedom. And are you out of... No, you're a constructor? Yes. You're out of... I take that back. I'm losing... I will lose everyone's support because of my chaotic coding habits. I could complement this with leaves. I should complement this with leaves instead of putting them directly there, like switch the production around, but let's do that another time. Okay, degrees of freedom. Let me go back to that machine to explain it. I struggle looking at bad code. Oh, and my code has almost 0 comments. I need to make sure my code doesn't dox me. I need to get it ready for stream. But it is really, really bad. And my code, by the way, has variables in Portuguese, variables in English, variables in French, variables in Japanese. Everything is chaotic. Okay. What is the degree of freedom? Oh, my code isn't readable. You'll see. My code was really made for me. Degrees of freedom is how many ways something can move independently. For example, this arm has 1 degree of freedom in this space. Le portugais parle français. Je parle un petit peu de français. Je parle anglais, portugais, français, espagnol et japonais. J'ai étudié le français dans l'école, mais seulement parle un petit peu. Je mange le croissant avec jambon et fromage. I can only speak a little bit of French. If you speak French, like written, I won't understand it all. If people talk to me in French, I will get a lot of words and expressions. Okay, but this arm has... our parents' generation spoke French much better than English. Yeah, in Portugal, it was way more common. Like, our education was people speaking French, not English. But our generation is the English one. This arm has 1 degree of freedom, which is rotating at the base. This is a 2nd degree of freedom, this rotation here. This is a 3rd degree of freedom here. And I'm checking, is this a linear one? Can this arm go forward and backwards? I don't think so. So we have 1, 2, 3. This is articulated in 2 places. So 4. That rotates, that's 5. Okay, this rotates like... Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is a 5 degree of freedom arm. And that's one of the most important things in machine design. When we are talking about robotic arms, that's how I measure different arms. It's like, is it a 1 degree of freedom arm? Is it a 2 degree of freedom arm? Okay, the claw opens and closes. That's another degree of freedom. That's 6. 6 degrees of freedom is the most common arm. If you want to mimic human motion in a robotic arm, you need like 12 or 13 degrees of freedom, because our motion doesn't start at our shoulder. Our shoulder itself moves. Our motion starts in our torso. And when I say independent movements, for example, this machine is a planar machine, it has 2 degrees of freedom. Doesn't matter how many actuators it has, it results in 2 degrees of freedom. Most 3D printers, sorry, have 3 degrees of freedom. X-axis, Y-axis, and Z-axis. And sometimes degrees of freedom... Why is my voice failing? Oh, I was just talking about the arms. Yes, with the fingers, our fingers have a lot of degrees of freedom. Yes, I was just talking about the arm. The arm starting... Yes, water time. The arm starting from our chest is like 12. The hand alone has way more. You're absolutely right. Because often we calculate in robotics, we discuss the arm and the hand differently. Because a lot of arms are made to fit different hands. So we count, the arm is 12, then the hand can be 1, can be 7, can be 14. So we usually count them differently. Because they are modular. Yeah, the human are like, we are such a superpower, like, we are way more advanced than the peak of our technology. In terms of design and everything, and I'm glad it is so. But degrees of freedom, for example, if you have an umbrella, you look at an umbrella, and when you open it and close it, a lot of things are moving. Every single steel wire is moving. There's a lot of motion, but only has 1 degree of freedom, because degrees of freedom are independent movements. Whatever you move in the umbrella, the other parts are moving in a controlled way, and that's the most common type of mechanism. The mechanism you have in an umbrella is actually an inversed slider crank mechanism, which is the same mechanism you have in your motor. In your motor, you have explosions, and you have a mechanism that converts linear motion, explosions, compressions, extensions, into rotation. If you look at it, your umbrella is kind of the same. You have 1 linear motion, and you are converting it into a rotation motion. The difference is the umbrella is limited. If the umbrella could move 360 degrees, you would open, close, and the bars will be woo, 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 producing a continuous rotating motion. Like, a standard mechanism is 1 degree of freedom, and when you're designing a robot, the number of motors you have on the robot, they can be rotational motors, they can be linear motors, needs to be at least the same as the number of degrees of freedom. In most robots, in perfectly actuated robots. There are some under-actuated robots. For example, you can have a worm that has a lot of degrees of freedom and just 1 actuator that makes it go floof, 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 floof. And that's a different robot, but in most applications, we have the same number of motors as degrees of freedom. And that's like what I'm saying. I work in mechanism design. This is one of the most important things in mechanism design. For example, this arm here would have 1 motor rotating it here, 1 motor doing this rotation here, 1 motor doing this rotation here, 1 motor doing that rotation there. Things are working, yes. Why are you not? Oh, I need to put in more screws even. Yeah, that's inverse kinematic. What I'm talking about is degrees of freedom. Inverse kinematic and forward kinematics. They are the 2 of the main kinematics used for robotics. And basically, I'm forgetting which is which. One is basically, I want to have the arm in... okay, if I have the arm in this position, where will the claw be? That's direct forward kinematics, I believe. It's like, if this motor is at 30 degrees, this one is at 20, this one is at 40, where will the claw be? That's forward kinematics. Inverse kinematics is the opposite. It's like, I want to have the arm here, in this point. What do the values of the joints need to be? Exactly. Reverse kinematics, from all degrees of freedom would be the joints. What needs to be the value of all of my joints to achieve that position? And for example, when we talk about something that is sometimes a controversial topic online, but because a lot of people generalize and they are talking about the sub-genre of this technology and not the technology as a whole, which is machine learning. Machine learning is a way you can control a robot kinematic without calculating the inverse kinematics. Because one of the good things about machine learning applications is that you do not need to know the path, you do not need to know the method to obtain the solution. You just need to know... Heal this, nature, destroy a thousand foliage. You do not need to know the path, you just need to know the desired behavior. Yeah, there needs to be a distinction between generative AI and regular AI. And even generative LLMs, like the language learning models, and like, those are generative, but I would distinguish between image and video and audio generation, language learning models, and everything else. Because people defend LLMs, it can fold protein, though it does. Yes, it's like I do understand your frustration, because they are very different things and they are nuanced. And I do and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Of course I don't want to get too much into controversial topics. I think one of the most damaging factors of all of these technologies, of language LLM, is not like, some of them has actual damages to the environment and things, but one of the biggest damages is the propaganda around them themselves. The propaganda machines, and like, people are using it to devalue the work of artists. Those messages themselves that a lot of people want to promote, those narratives, are worse than the technology itself. Like farm bots. Yeah, there are some bot farms. Yeah. There are some bad applications, and even within, like, I hate when even people even use generative art, because for me the main thing about art is, art is the language that humans use to communicate emotions. That's my definition of art. So, by my personal definition, yeah, AI can generate images, yes, but it can never create art. So, I sometimes fumble myself. If you've heard me say, oh, AI generated art on streams, because it's the main topic, the main term, I will probably say so, but I hate that term. I hate that the word art is even associated with something like that. And yeah, as I was saying, the propaganda and those narratives are way more damaging than... I mean, the technology itself, as I said, is also causing damages, but the propaganda machine is really bad. I've heard people say... one of my hobbies, I'm an engineer, but I love writing fantasy books. I've had people tell me, oh, you are working in creative... working in creative art, writing. Why? You're just wasting your time. Writing is obsolete. Because we now have LLMs. And I'm like, what? Have you heard yourself? Have you heard what you're saying? Oh yeah, it's a communication form. And when I talk about technical drawings, I talked about them for a bit. Technical drawings are one of the main languages. It's not uncommon that it's all AI that's said to be bad. We've had AI for decades. Yeah, and even the word AI, for example. If I'm playing Morrowind in the 70s, and of course, machine learning has been around for a long time, but if I'm playing Morrowind, the computer has AI. Because AI is also the behavior of, oh, this soldier is shooting me because it has a pre-programmed behavior, and that is a way that we produce semblances of intelligence in an artificial way. So that is AI, but that's, when we are talking about AI, that's not what we are talking about. And it's like, words, terms, terminology. Gen AI is, no, it's statistics. It's probability. It's not intelligent. All it does is find patterns and establish statistical... All it does is a stochastic, I think that's the term. Of course, nowadays there's some that are more complex, but it all boils down to statistics. Why does does this image give me that text? Because the computer, it's not because the computer is thinking, oh, this text is actually deep. No, the computer has read a million texts, and the computer just thinks, okay, the Nando asked, what are potatoes? I've read a million texts, and from the million texts, the most common answer that people like to what are potatoes is potatoes are tuberculous, blah 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 blah. I would say, though, it needs to be removed from schools. What I would do... I agree completely. Before I move forward, like, and even for students cheating, I feel like doing, like, works, like, for example, oh, do a research work about this or that topic. It's one of the great ways of learning, in my opinion. I was a huge fan of project works and things like that, and a lot of professors now just don't even bother at sending works or exercises because they're like, oh yeah, the students will just cheat either way using AI, which is horrible. I would ban AI from almost all subjects, and the only exception would be a subject that's specifically meant to teach how students should deal with it. Okay, this is what I wanted. Because it is an important technology, even if, like, bringing awareness, like, spotting, with how things are moving, spotting fake news, and things like that. In that subject, I would like to, like, have controlled exposition to the hazard. Distill models, basically models that are much faster but less accurate. They make these models by feeding higher quality models. Oh, yeah. For example, what, I could see it to be useful for severely dyslexic people. Yeah, there's, for example, my first thought when I saw image generation, before it became the horrible fest that it is, was like, okay, when I want to commission an artist, like, I'm not good with color theory. I'm not good at imagining things. And I was like, okay, before commissioning an artist, I can run some tests in a generative AI, and that can give me a better idea of what I want to commission. Like, give me a few sketches, and that was naive me before, and I think all technologies, like, technology is technology. It's not, the words are going to be even more confused as the companies connected LLMs to other knowledge systems. I've even seen people say that an image video was modified by saying, this is AI, it's all going to be AI, everything computer will be called AI. Oh, and the people who like the words like smart this, smart that. We aren't doing a meeting, we are doing a power artificial gathering of like the buzzwords, and now AI is, everyone wants to put the AI. So the more Gen AI generates, the more they become distilled, basically. Yeah, AI incest, and I've heard that about the yellowification of image generation. That image generation, everything turned yellow because of that. Because of AI learning from AI. Because the only good data is human data, and it's impossible to tell AI generate. Yeah, and like the space is so saturated. Oh. Oh? Okay, it's here. I was like, does that... We are sealing the container. Okay, this is cool. And we are ready to send.
Welcome to the Project Assembly Pioneer Progress presentation. Congratulations.
PowerPoint.
The Phase 1 project part shipment is now ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 1 will be completed and the distribution platform will be constructed. After completion of Phase 1, the technologies of Tiers 3 and 4 will become available in the hub.
Let's go, automated power,
Highlights
personal
are automated
steel.
power, steel production, personnel transportation, and many more.
Nice.
Completing Phase 2 of Project Assembly is your next main objective. New project parts will need to be produced and delivered to the space elevator as you have done previously. Continue to construct, automate, explore and exploit for a better Fix-It future.
Let's go. Oh, I saw it going up there. Soon you can automate power. Oh, that's going to be so handy. Oh. Oh, nice. Breaking the atmosphere. Oh.
Phase 1 of Project Assembly completed. This is only the beginning of Project Assembly, the first step towards saving the day. You have performed adequately so far. Reminder, not only is Fix-It saving humanity, it is saving all of Earth, including kittens and puppies. It is statistically likely that you appreciate the continued existence of kittens and or puppies. Continue the work for their sake. Continue the work for Fix-It. It is time to start the work on Phase 2 of Project Assembly.
Damn, this game is so cool. And this is the kind of stuff I'm happy that I'm having the first my first playthrough being without me knowing the things, because there's a satisfaction to seeing like a full finished thing and a full finished project, but there's a beauty also to experiencing the game for the first time and seeing these moments. For example, for someone who has played this 1,000 times, this is just like, oh yeah, it's that cutscene. For me, this is being so cool. The presentation of this game and the delivery is astonishing. I gave a bro fist to the sky. Oh, let's get the... Oh, I should have done this when Almantas and Junken. Love Saturn. Probably it's not Saturn, but... Love the space. Satisfaction Factory. Maybe that's where the game name comes from. Yeah, but I mean, look at us. Not the biggest. I need to stop saying the emote, but we. Oops. Also, the blue circle thing is to remove clouds if you do it when it's cloudy. Ah, nice. Look at the top right. Oh, 1,000 of those. Let's go. So this is, we are going to have to step up our engineering game. Let me just see what things we have here. Oh, coal power tier 2. It is done. Wait. Why doesn't it show? Why is it flashing? All is done. Okay. Maybe it's saying that this was the last completed tier. Make a couple of crates and leave it alone. It will be a long time before you return. Damn. Oh, pipes. I've heard about pipes. Basic steel. Enhanced assets. Oh, Xenobasher. Oh, nice. Lightsaber fix. Oh, blueprints. The blueprints. Logistics. Hypertubes. Oops. And yeah, and I still need to unlock the cool things here. Oh, probably these are the best. Oh, I can do a skate park. Architecture. Oh, the catwalks. Modern railing. Nice. You can make skate parks. Oh, I need to make a sign saying like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Oh, nice, nice. I've only skated a little bit in real life, but I'm a huge fan of. Oh, there's even music tape. What? God Simulator music? Probably some of this is copyrighted, and I have the copyright for streamers turned on filter. Indoor lighting. Oh, this is from the same devs as God Simulator. I played the first God Simulator. I know that now they're like in the third game. Oh, stairs. I love stairs. Factory letters. Structural cables. They skipped the second as a joke. Okay, okay. Kind of like the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. Oh, Stanley Parable. Now that's another charming game. I've played. Sadly, I can't stream it. I mean, I could, but it's like I've done everything, and I feel like your first. It's one of those games that what matters the most. While this is a game that you can spend millions of. I mean, millions is an overstatement. Thousands of hours and find personal content to do. Stanley Parable is really a narrative experience that you can replay it, but the first playthrough is definitely the remarkable one. Okay, but yeah. Stanley Parable is really good. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can't rate on YouTube yet because of my streaming size. But I can rate on Twitch. Let's see if there's anyone I want to. If not, no worries. Ooh, I mean, Is this the because it only shows one viewer on Twitch, but I think it's the bug that everyone complains about, that the Twitch numbers aren't real and things like that, because there's more than one people in chat. It says 3 for me. Yeah, Vexel. I think I'm going to. Nefwood should start soon. Vexel. There's also I'm also thinking, because there's Inari Reiju, and I may have some things lined up in the future, and I don't often stream at the same times. Even though I do love Vexel, so I'm going to shout out Vexel as well. I'm going to leave a shout out for Vexel. He's a fellow VTuber who does go. I will raid Inari Reiju. I just read what you were saying. Well, yeah, some people prefer the. Okay, let's shout out Vexel. I'm going to have to raid Vexel another day, but Inaru usually starts later, and I usually end a lot earlier. Like Inari often starts like 2 hours later, so our overlap is going to be really rare. I'm going to raid Inari Reiju. Fellow VTuber as well, doing a collab. I do wonder. I'm looking at the collab and like, what's happening here? But yeah, let's raid her. Say hi. Yes, okay. And yeah, for me, I have an unplanned unplanned stream tomorrow. I'll be streaming Europa Universalis, and then Friday I have a language exchange collab with Amaru Aranue, Portugal and Bolivia slang exchange. It's gonna be a fun talk. Next week, expect more Satisfactory. Expect me actually streaming Go. Sorry about missing it this week. Going live on Monday would have been such a bad idea. I was so tired. I'm glad it was the right call. Sometimes I feel remorse for canceling a stream. I would have not made a good stream if I did that stream. So I'm glad I cut that out. And yeah, if you're just here for Satisfactory, I will stream it more. If not, I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in chat. I hope you had a great time, because I sure did, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye, everyone.